One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet who millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Do you believe that they deserve to know specific details about her economic plan? Should you know what your tax rate is going to be, or at least what she believes your tax rate should be, before you go to the polls? Should you know what the regulatory sort of regime in her perfected world would look like? I think these are sort of singular important questions. And you could say, maybe you're not supposed to know these things, but I think that's what people want to understand.
She's laid out a broad vision for what are her priorities. And I think your average American voter's got to look at the chaos, the unpredictability, the sort of careening around the field of the former president and a vice president who says, to your point, we're going to keep a lot of the same policies and agendas. The first thing she came out with in terms of an economic policy, and it upset some in my caucus, was
what exactly are the careening policies that Trump has? He's been pretty clear. No tax on tips, which she appropriated for herself. No tax on overtime. No tax on Social Security for people on Social Security. And then, of course, tariffs whenever suited. So where's the ambivalence and, careening that he's talking about in regards to Trump's tax policy?
Was a proposal for a cap gains rate increase that was lower than what President Biden had been looking for. She's focusing on how do we build more housing, partnering with the private sector, removing regulatory barriers, providing incentives.
Right now,
and now how do we build more middle class wealth?
What we've heard about cap gains. We've heard about $50,000 for small businesses.
We've heard about a $50,000 tax credit. We didn't hear her giving $50,000 to a small business. Big difference. When she talks about that, I hope you guys grasp that. When she says, we're going to give people $50,000 to start a new business because you can't start a business with $5,000. Hey, lady, guess what? You can't do anything with a tax credit until you've actually made the money. When you go to basically, sign the lease for the building for your new store, you can't pay for that with a tax credit. when you need to, like, buy a lawnmower if you're going to do a lawn business, or buy computers. You can't walk into Best Buy or Office Depot and say, hey, listen, I'd like to buy 10 computers for my new staff. Nope, that ain't going to work. Or how about this? How about the people you're going to hire for your new business? You say to them, here's what we're going to do, everybody. I'm going to hire you, you, and you, and what we're going to do is give you each a tax credit that you can use next April. Good luck with that. That ain't going to work.
Heard about building more housing supply and offering $25,000 to folks, right, who are first-time buyers. And we've heard about no tax on tips. Those are the 5 specifics that I can give you.
Now, that's Chris Coons, the senator from Delaware, Dementia Joe's partner in crime. He's been there like forever, and he's very uncomfortable because these people on CNBC are throwing questions at him that he's not prepared to answer.
And what do you know about Donald Trump's tax and regulatory
my question
agenda?
is, there's probably 5 or maybe 10 other specifics that I think most people would want to know.
What about salt?
I'm sorry?
What about salt? The
Salt.
section?
He doesn't even know what that means. He doesn't understand the alternative tax. He doesn't even get it because Delaware isn't like that. So it's never been in his purview.
Look, I can't tell you exactly where that will come down.
Taxing on unrealized gains, and while it would not impact me at this point, I do worry that down the road it would be extended. It's just a new way of looking at things to say, we're going to tax what you don't have.
We're going to tax what you don't have. How does one do that? How do you tax somebody on income and money that they don't have? Listen to this answer very closely, especially for some of you who've got property and you're thinking about leaving property to your children. Listen to this answer.
That's a sore point, and it's a big deal. Is that something you think she firmly believes in?
I think it's part of the proposals of the campaign, which is to try and find some way to get at this system of buy, borrow, die that allows the very wealthiest Americans to borrow against the unrealized gains in their portfolio.
Buy, borrow, die. That's what they have a problem with. They have a problem with you leaving assets to your heirs. You buy a house, you buy a business, you do well with it, you haven't taken all the cash out, you borrow money to grow your business, and then you die and leave it to somebody else. Oh, as the government, you want that. I got to have some of that, but you're not entitled to it. But that's what I want. These people have never seen a human that they can't tax except for newcomers. They want as much of your income and your assets as you will possibly stand. Eventually, Americans are going to rise up and go, I'm done. I am absolutely done with this entire charade of fair share and all this other stuff when all you want to do is keep coming back for more. There was a report today. I should have downloaded it. And that report was, and it struck me when I read the headlines. And they were talking about no tax for tips and no tax on overtime. And the headline read, and I quote, "How does Donald Trump expect to pay for these tax cuts?" And I realized millions of people are probably going to see that headline, and it's going to be all over the place, and they're going, yeah, how's he going to pay for that? Not realizing that's not the question. There should never be a question of how you're going to pay to give people their money back. You see, that's the actual, the realism of the entire thing. It's your money. And they're struggling like, how are we gonna do this? Because, we need all this money here to be able to do what we want to do. And we just can't have people getting their money back. Their money back. I'm watching the screen to make sure nothing's happening. And I realized these people have never run a business, so they don't even understand the concept of, you know what? Maybe you shouldn't be worried about spending so much. There's a novel idea, because if you don't spend so much, then you don't have to tax so much. But that's not how it's ever worked in Washington at this point. Hey, our budget, that's a whole nother dream scenario. But we're looking to raise a gazillion trillion dollars this year. Okay, so where are you going to get it? We're going to go ahead and tax all these people so that we can get as much of their money and we can borrow even more so that we can never basically pay for anything. We'll just kick it down the road where now our national debt is just some mythical figure that people don't believe in and can't even put their arms around. And we'll just keep taking more money from you and borrowing more money from China and other countries and then spend everything we want. And I think many of you have looked at the tax code and said to yourselves, I can't do that with my house. I can't say, hey, honey, let's just go spend what we want. And then what we'll do is we'll tell the credit card company, yeah, you just need to give us more credit. You know, every so often we'll do a continuing resolution here in the house. And we'll say, listen, we need this much more to keep going. Otherwise, we're going to have to shut down things here and we won't be able to eat. So I'm giving you the authority to give us more money, because that's what a continuing resolution is. Continuing resolution is, since the government doesn't have any money, it's basically authorizing them to, continue taking their money. You ever looked at it that way? That they sit back and go, wow, things might hit the fan at the end of the month, so we need to make sure we can keep going, i.e. continue. So let's make a resolution that we continue to take your money so that we can spend it. Instead of getting together and saying, let's cut here, let's cut there, let's cut here, let's cut there, and bring it all back into a manageable situation where everything is itemized. Nope, that's a pipe dream. They never go back. She keeps saying, I guess that's her slogan. We're never going back. We're never gonna give you your money back. We just have to keep getting more. We need more of your fair share, even if you don't have it. And I know many people sit back and go, I don't even know what they mean by unrealized capital gains. It doesn't affect me. And that's the attitude they count on. The attitude that they expect is for so many people, so many common people, of which I'm one, to look at things and go, oh, that doesn't affect me. I don't have a gazillion dollars. I don't own a mall. I don't own a jet. So that unrealized capital gains, that's on those rich guys. Because people don't understand how the tax code works and how it affects you personally. Because those assets that you do have, then eventually they're going to come down to the households and they're going to say, yeah, you're going to have to pay up some money too. And then when you see the company that you work for having to take some unrealized capital gains tax, what do you think they're going to do when they're like, so you want us to write a check to the government based on money we haven't realized yet, just so you can keep spending? Which means you'll come back like a starving kitty and want some more milk over and over and over again. Meanwhile, to make up this thing I have to pay that doesn't exist, I'm going to have to go over here and slap it on your food and your gas and your clothing, because you don't expect the company to have to eat that, do you? That's not what we're in business for. We're not in the business to lend the government money. We're in the business to make a profit. That's the only reason why we're in business. Otherwise, we'd be a charity. And so today, Trump is going to have a speech and he's going to outline more of his tax program, more of what he wants to do. And I believe she's going to try and say something again later. She's probably waiting, watching what he's got to say so she can make up her mind what do I need to do a tax plan? Well, listen to what he says and we'll just do that. So today, he's going to lay out his tax plan. I can't wait. To me, and it amazes me. I look and it's a smaller crowd. It's 11:30 in the afternoon. But this is a talk that I think is probably one of the most important speeches he's going to give. This is about your pocketbook. This is a speech that everybody, even after, people are working right now. It's only 12:30 in the afternoon, 12:45. This is one of those speeches that people need to share and pass around because it's of most important to your specific household. It's most important to your friends and your family members. They need to know where their money's going. All the other stuff, we can see. It's grand. We know what national security is. We know we need to stop these newcomers. Yes, we got that. 59% of Americans support mass deportations. Yeah, we know we got to take care of that. But there aren't many speeches that politicians give that specifically affect your wallet. In the entire cycle of their 4 years in office, they may do a couple of speeches, but then they just go ahead and pass laws, and it's too late. You don't even get to speak about it. Now we've got an election coming up in 40 days or so, and the two candidates have to basically lay out the plan of what they're going to take from you. To me, that is extremely important. I mean, national security, newcomers, taxes. Way down there is baby removal. But on the other side, baby removal is up here for them. They could care less what they're being taxed as long as they can dispose of babies. Which, by the way, is why I ran that poll today, is I want to do a membership. I really want to. I was going to launch it today. Ashley and the mods have been working with me, and I kind of had a little resistance over the last week or so. And during that resistance, what I said was, if I do a membership on YouTube, you're going to get the same content that I'm basically doing live and during my recorded videos. I'm still going to say baby removal. I'm still going to talk newcomers. I can't say what I really want to say and what you really want to know. You want unfiltered opinion and news based upon what's happening. It isn't happening on YouTube. So I'm asking, even if you haven't been a X or Twitter subscriber, which is free, by the way, just like YouTube, won't cost you any money. If you're a subscriber over there, or go subscribe, follow me, I'd like to create the membership over there, or perhaps on a third-party site. I'm looking at that with Ashley as well, looking at doing it on a third-party site where we can bring videos that we're talking about issues in the next 45 days or so, where we can be open, unfiltered, and say what we really mean without worrying about somebody flipping a switch. So as that poll is running, that's the reason for that poll, is we're going to make a decision one way or the other, and I'd like to have your guys' input as to where we go. I know some people get so comfortable with one thing, they don't want to move other places, but I just feel like it would be redundant to do the same stuff here as I would do in a membership. And if you guys get involved in a membership, I want to bring as much value as possible and talk about things without worrying about all of a sudden the stream going down. So let me know what you think about that. So it's now 12:48. Trump hasn't come on yet, of course. And I want to just play something he said yesterday, because this to me was very eye-opening. He was talking about John Deere. So those of you guys who were here, you saw it. If not, you didn't see it. But this is what he said about John Deere.
And if they get in, your energy costs are going through the roof. Okay, they're going to go through the roof. You won't have a farm very long. I will tell you that. I just noticed behind me John Deere tractors. I know a lot about John Deere. I love the company, but as you know, they've announced a few days ago that they're going to move a lot of their manufacturing business to Mexico. I'm just notifying John Deere right now. If you do that, we're putting a 200% tariff on everything that you want to sell into the United States, so that if I win, John Deere is going to be paying a 200%. They haven't started it yet. Maybe they haven't even made the final decision yet.
I love that. I love that he threw the gauntlet down and said, no. If you haven't signed your papers in Mexico, or wherever you plan on going, don't do it. I will crush your business if you decide to take this company and American jobs over to Mexico. Ain't going to happen. And what I felt was so important about that was also a message to every other company. He happened to see, he's sitting in front of a couple of John Deere tractors. It became easy when he's sitting in front of the actual tractors from the company, and he's able to say to them, hey, listen, do you realize if you do this, I'm going to do that? That must have made the people at John Deere take notice. He called them out by name on live stream and said, I'm going to put a 200% tariff on your goods. All right, so just so you guys know, and we talked a little bit about it yesterday, that means if you want to bring something in, he's basically going to put a 200% tax on the product that you bring in from overseas. And then you read in the news about certain people saying, it's not fair to the consumer. The consumer is going to have to pay more. No, that's not true. A tariff is meant to cause that company problems. If you're hell-bent that you got to have a John Deere, then it will cost you more money. But it makes all the other competitors who drive little, create tractors and stuff, it makes them more attractive. Because, wow, I could buy this for $5,000, or it's going to cost me $12,000 to buy a John Deere. Hey, dude, I think I'm going to buy the little tractor over here from Mazinga or whatever company it is. Whatever company that wants to play ball with the United States, that's what he's encouraging. We're not going to subsidize you and pay you for taking the jobs over into Mexico and hiring Mexicans when over here, this company is right here in America with American employees. We want them to get the benefit of someone's purchase. Don't let the media lie to you and tell you that tariffs cause prices to go up. What it does is cause competition. Because now, unless there was only one tractor supplier in the world, and then John Deere said, no, we're going to do it, we're going to pay the tariff, or actually pass the tariff on to the consumers, and you didn't have any other choice, then yeah, that would raise the price of that John Deere. But we have choices. Every single day, we all have choices. Depending on what restaurant you want to go for lunch. If you want to go to a restaurant at restaurant A and they charge too much, you will go to restaurant B. Unless that charge that they're giving you at restaurant A is such a great deal that you're willing to pay more, which is possible. If the value is there, if the value of what you're trying to buy is worth paying more, then you'll pay more. But the media and the left tries to brainwash people and gaslight them to make you think that you're going to have to pay a much higher price for goods when that's not at all what it is. I'm just watching. I thought there was a disturbance, but it's some people in the audience really going nuts. So they want this event is in Savannah, Georgia, at the Johnny Mercer Theater in Savannah. It holds about 2,500 people, so it's probably going to be a little bit raucous and loud. And I just want to warn you now, because we always get this in the comment section. A rally is different than a speech. Today is a speech. I expect him to come out and be more subdued. He's probably going to be doing a lot of teleprompter. He's going to be hitting his bullet points because this is a policy speech. It's not a rally. Again, this is one of the reasons I said I like these things better, because to me, this is the nuts and bolts of why someone is running for the presidency. So understand as you're watching it, no, he's not tired. No, he's not in a bad mood. No, nothing happened. He's not sad. He's focused. Today is a speech. I have to give this speech, and I'm going to outline some policy. And as I'm watching, all the police are coming in, and I'm going to let people know this is what I'm going to do. And this speech is going to be shown everywhere, not live maybe, but people are going to take excerpts and put it all over the place because it's that important. This affects your pocketbook. Every single word he says right now is probably not most of the things you've heard in the rally. We've heard no tax on tips. We've heard no tax on overtime. We've heard no tax on Social Security. But now it's going to be a little bit broader. He's going to spend probably an hour talking about nothing but the economy and his tax plan for you, an American. So listen up, because this is going to affect your pocketbook directly. And I do mean directly. So let's go ahead and take some comments. Buy American, somebody says, comes up. Why did that not come up? Okay, I don't know why that first one didn't come up. At least he does these things. Yeah, I mean, it's funny. Kamala is totally on reflex. She's going to have to, response. Biden and Harris are selling out America. Absolutely. John Deere should remember who kept them in. You know what? You're so right. Who kept them in business and fed life to their company all these years? Do not sell us out, John Deere. Yeah. People love their John Deere tractors, too. We need to stop supporting places like YouTube that censors free speech and start supporting things like X that doesn't suppress free speech. I understand it's a huge, huge change. And it's scary. It's really scary over there because people will call you out. A lot of people just lurk. They don't even post. They just scroll through and look. And if that's what you want to do that as well. Just look until you see something that's probably going to get you. You see, one of the things here on YouTube that Ashley, Tommy, SV, and the various mods like, it's comfortable, but it's still filtered. Even some people would text me or email me, hey man, my comment got blocked. Well, your comment got blocked because of X, Y, or Z thing you said. Sometimes it's not the moderators. If you say certain words in the comment, you get blasted into the ether just because you said those words. We don't even see it. It's not even something that we do. No, X isn't that hard to navigate, especially if you're just looking at what do you call it? A membership area. Rumble is uncensored YouTube. Yep, it's uncensored over there too. Bear, I think X ain't for the weak though. No, it ain't for the weak at all. I will tell you that. Let's see. I suppose. Let's see. Go around the filter and stay clean. I can't afford to barely buy my kids these days. Keep it on YouTube. Okay. I think you're not understanding, but that's okay. X should have a YouTube type platform. They do. It's a heavy video oriented platform. That's what Elon Musk wants to do. He wants to make it a video based platform. And he's been doing it. So tons of videos over there. Rumble at Barry, free speech there. Yeah, but Rumble is even hard to get through. If you're not getting blocked, you're not trying. That's trying to funny. Trying to give ordinary directions. Mod have chosen to let your comments go through or hide them. I'm a mod on another channel. Yeah, but there's also a channel-wide filter. So I'm not sure if the mod channel that you mod, if they've told you this, there's a channel-wide filter. So that means if you say certain words like F, if you say the N word, if you say the P word, if you say certain words, and don't test it here, but it'll just go away really very fast. Did John Deere take bailout money? I don't actually remember right now. Nope, I don't remember as well either if they did or not. Like I told TSC, I would buy my feed elsewhere. They replied, TSC, okay, they replied that they hear that a lot of that. Okay. Yeah, I mean, they have to know you have options. Let's see here. Somebody just said, I follow Barry on X, very easy to set up. Yeah, but it is like a fire hose. You see, I may do 1, 2, maybe on a big day, three videos in a day. I personally may put out 10, 15, in some instances, 20 tweets. Post in a day on X. You're not seeing any of that. See, the production that you need to put on a YouTube, whether it's a live stream or a video, it's intensive. It's very intensive. You got to get the lights, the camera. You got to do everything you want. You got to make sure you've got the software, everything is working. You got the feed. But on X, boom, done. Oh, hey, check this out. Did you see this? Boom, done. And it just, you think the comments move fast here. Oh man, you haven't seen nothing yet then over there. Will you go from, Barry, you will go from thousands to millions of followers on X. You're not shadow banned. If you were shadow banned, we wouldn't be able to see you. So come on. Somebody says Barry equals hard work. You want to know who's hard work? Just let me tell you what happened today. So I open up as the first thing I do my prayer vigil in the morning, and I go through the daily prayer. And then after that, I check stats from the night before. And then the third thing I do is let me go here and peek at Donald Trump's schedule. And I clicked on the button today, and I was like, oh my gosh, this guy's about to go absolutely nuts. He's got 6 events in the next 4 days. So I'm going to be busy. Moderator's going to be busy. Understand that this man is 78 years old, and he's running me ragged at this point. I'm like, you go, boy. I'm with you. I'm with you. 6 events in the next 4 days. And I don't mean just in one city. He's like all over the place. So it's going to be awesome. We got a lot of stuff to cover, a lot of different events. And then starting next week early, the 1st of October, then we've got the vice presidential debate, which should be a lot of fun watching J.D. Vance carve up Tim Walz. That should just be made for TV, must-see TV, absolutely. Patricia DeWeaver says, I love X, and it's not that bad. It isn't. Well, Elon he doesn't own YouTube. If Elon ever bought YouTube, oh my gosh, no, he doesn't own YouTube. I doubt that they're ever going to sell it to him. Barry, fess up why you're avoiding Rumble. I think I just fessed up. If I'm going to produce videos, different videos, I don't want to recreate what I'm already doing here. Wow, he's coming out right now. Hold that question, and I will be back as he's walking out right this instant. So let's hopefully he's not going to be playing any music. Let's see. Yeah, he's playing the music. He's playing the music. So I gotta wait a second. By the way, just so you know, I wouldn't have to worry about that on Twitter. Nope. It's wide open. We can play whatever we want. So that's another good reason. I wouldn't even have to, I could play the music. I could sit there, and it would just be awesome. So let's see here. I'm very interested in this speech today. Very, very interested. I think this is so. I'll come back to that. Let me actually make a note to say, come back to Rumble. Why the problem with Rumble? Because it's a very quick answer to that question. So I put it in my notes here, just waiting for him to start talking. He's got pink hair again. Yeah, it must be new lighting. The boss is here. Yep, he's ready to go. And I've got 2 feeds working. Where's my other feed, just in case here? Yep, we're going to go with this. So you're going to see it change here in a second. Okay, so that's feed number 2, and we are all ready. Is Twitter ad-free? For a membership, it will be, and also Twitter's ads do not show up front and center. They are inside of the actual threads. Dan Bongino speaks on anything he wants. Yeah, on Rumble. He can't say it on Twitter. I mean, on YouTube. That's why he left, or rather, was unceremoniously told to leave. Dan Bongino got bounced out of YouTube. That's why he's on. That's why he's on Rumble right now. Let's see here. Poor Brett Favre was diagnosed with Parkinson's. All right, so let's see. He's about to walk up to the podium. So let's join Mr. President Trump. Okay, almost.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you.
Volume?
Hello to
Volume,
Savannah.
let me know about the
Hello,
volume.
Georgia. We love Georgia.
Let me know about the volume.
It's great to be back in this beautiful state with thousands of proud, hardworking American patriots. That's what you are, American patriots. And think of this, 42 days from now, we are going to win the state of Georgia. We are going to defeat Comrade Kamala Harris. And we are going to make America great again. But we're here today to talk about how we're going to launch a historic buildup of American manufacturing muscle and might. This is not a rally, although it feels like a rally. It's really a little event with my 5,000 or 6,000 closest friends in the whole world. But Georgia and Savannah are going to be right in the center of the action. We're going to rebuild our manufacturing, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen fast and beautifully. For years, Americans have watched as our country was stripped of jobs and wealth, and our companies were sold off to foreign countries. You've been watching, and it's been a horror show. I've been watching for many years, and we had it stemmed. And then all of a sudden, bad things happened. Bad things happened. But boy, I'll tell you, we had it stemmed. If we would have had 4 more years, everything, this would be such a different country right now. We would have had no inflation. You wouldn't have Russia attacking Ukraine. You wouldn't have had October 7th with Israel. The Middle East is blowing up. We could be very close to World War III with these characters that don't have any idea what they're doing. But what a shame. In Afghanistan, what a disaster. That was the most embarrassing day in the history of our country, I believe. But GE appliances were sold to the Chinese. IBM computers were again sold to China. Under Kamala Harris, U.S. Steel is now being sold to Japan. And I will stop it. We got to do fast. We got to work fast, but we're not going to let it happen. We're not going to let U.S. Steel. 70 years ago, the greatest company on earth, U.S. Steel. Now it's going to be sold off like it was nothing. We're not going to let that happen. We'll build it up. We'll make it strong, but we're not going to let that happen. But with the vision I'm outlining today, not only will we stop our businesses from leaving for foreign lands, but under my leadership, we're going to take other countries' jobs. Did you ever hear that expression before? Have you ever heard? That we're going to take other countries' jobs? It's never been stated before. We're going to take their factories, and we had it really rocking 4 years ago. We're going to bring thousands and thousands of businesses and trillions of dollars in wealth back to the good old USA. That's what we're going to be doing it, and doing it fast. And under my plan, American workers will no longer be worried about losing your jobs to foreign nations. Instead, foreign nations will be worried about losing their jobs to America. Going to bring them back. And it won't even be difficult. Your only worry will be deciding which job to take. There will be plenty of them. That will be your biggest problem. Darling, which company should I go with? We're going to bring them back, and we're going to bring them back at levels not to be believed, but you'll believe it. In about 2 years from now, you're going to say, wow, that happened fast. You're going to have so many companies wanting to come in because this is where the money is. It won't be if we keep running it like we have for the last 4 years. But this is what they want. This is what they want, and you'll hear the plan. I want German car companies to become American car companies. I want them to build their plants here. I want to beat China in electronics production, and we'll be able to do that easily. We have the greatest genius, the greatest minds here, and then we end up building them in different places. A lot of that's really stupid tax policy. I want GE, IBM, and every other manufacturer that left us to be filled with regret and come sprinting back to our shores, and they will. So as your president, here is the deal that I will be offering to every major company and manufacturer on earth. I will give you the lowest taxes, the lowest energy costs, the lowest regulatory burden, and free access to the best and biggest market on the planet, but only if you make your product here in America. It all goes away if you don't make your product here, and hire American workers for the job. If you don't make your product here, then you will have to pay a tariff, a very substantial tariff, when you send your product into the United States. And by the way, you know, for years they knocked the word tariff, properly used, is a beautiful word. One of the most beautiful words I've ever heard. It's music to my ears. A lot of bad people didn't like that word, but now they're finding out I was right. And we will take in hundreds of billions of dollars into our treasury and use that money to benefit the American citizens. And it will not cause inflation, by the way. And you know, I took in from China hundreds of billions of dollars in taxes and tariffs, and I had no inflation. We didn't have any inflation, 1.2%. We had essentially no inflation. Now, you've had, over the last 4 years, you've had the highest inflation, I think, in the history of our country. Somebody said, no, sir, it's only 58 years. Well, that's pretty bad, too. I think it's really in the history of our country. This is the policy that built America, and this is the policy that is going to save America. It's going to save us, because we have gone so far down in so many different ways. Not to mention the border, not to mention 21 million people pouring in from places unknown, totally unvetted. But like I've always called it, because it's a very beautiful and simple term, it's called America First. We're putting America first. This new American industrialism will create millions and millions of jobs, massively raise wages for American workers, and make the United States into a manufacturing powerhouse like it used to be many years ago. We will be able to build ships again. We will be able to build airplanes at a much higher level again. We will become the world leader in robotics and every other field. The U.S. auto industry, which has been decimated over many, many decades, will once again be the envy of the planet. We're not going to accept all of these cars. They come in from every country, and it knocks out. You know, I was up in Michigan. We're doing very well in Michigan. By the way, we're doing very well in Georgia. We're leading by quite a bit. But pretend you're 1 point down, please, and go and vote, okay? Don't. Just go vote. You got to vote. We got to win this. If we don't win this election, our country is gone. I really believe it. To the auto workers in Michigan, Georgia, and all other parts of our country, I am pinpointing you for greatness. Your industry has been decimated by many decades of incompetent leadership, both political and at your company level. You had presidents of your company that sold out our country. They didn't know what they were doing. They were horrible. And you had politicians that were grossly incompetent to let that happen. Your auto industry has been decimated. And again, with the electric car, it's all going to be made in China. The head of the United Auto Workers ought to be ashamed of himself for what he's done. But we're going to turn it around, and we're going to turn it around fast. China is right now building major auto plants in Mexico. Did you know that? They were going to start with me. I said, no, if you do them, I'm putting a 200% tariff on every car that comes. And they decided we'll pass. Then they said, wow, now we can build Trump. We won't have to worry about him anymore. Oh, here I am. Here I am. Here I am. We're leading in the polls. We're leading by a lot. We're leading by a lot. They said, oh, we don't have to worry about him. No, they have to worry about me. That's why they don't like me. You know, they used to like Obama. They used to like... They like Biden. You know why? Because they got away with murder. That's why they like Biden. They love Biden. Why would you like Biden except that you took advantage of him? They took advantage of him. And they think they're going to sell their cars into the United States and destroy Michigan and South Carolina and North Carolina and Georgia and all of the places that make autos. Not going to happen. We will put a 100% tariff on every single car coming across the Mexican border. And tell them the only way they'll get rid of that tariff is if they want to build a plant right here in the United States with you people operating that plant. We want American citizens, and we want their plants built here, not 2 feet over the border and selling them into our country. We're not doing that. We don't do that anymore. A friend of mine does auto plants. He builds auto plants. That's what he's great at. He's great, the biggest in the world. And I said, I want to see a plant. Pretty recently ago, I want to see a plant. Where would we go? I said, would we go to Detroit? Someplace in Michigan, ideally. He says, no, you can't go there, sir. They're not. We'll have to go to Mexico. The big ones are being built in Mexico. I said, why is that? He said, well, they have a lot of tax reasons, and China's coming in big, and they think they're going to make their car and sell it in tax-free into the United States. But the big ones, if you want to see a really big modern plant, come with me to Mexico. I said, I'm not interested in going to Mexico. I want those plants built here. And that'll happen. In fact, when they learn about the 100 or 200% tariff, they'll probably say, yeah, let's stop construction immediately. You'll see a big difference. I will bring automobile manufacturing back to the highest level in the history of our country. It used to be we were the only place, and then it just got chipped away, mostly by China and Japan, and all of a sudden we were down more than 55% from where we were years ago. But it'll be like it was 50 years ago, and these jobs, they'll become roaring back, and we're going to be making autos at a level that you've never seen before. We'll be making cars bigger, better, more beautiful, stronger, and faster than ever before. Billions of people around the globe will soon be buying products proudly stamped, made in the USA. Or if you prefer, if you have to do it, made in Georgia. You can do that. And they'll be exported through the port of Savannah. We had a little bit to do with that deeper port. Under my leadership, we helped deepen the port. You know that. We helped deepen the port once, and now I understand they want to do it again. And we will get in, and we will get that done very quickly. We'll work with your governor, and we're going to get that done very quickly. This will be a major undertaking involving the Army Corps of Engineers and transportation officials throughout your state. It's going to happen fast. This will happen so fast, you're going to say, gee, I thought he just said we're going to do it. We have a strength over environmental impact statements. Sometimes they'll delay a project for 20 years, 25 years. With me, I think if it takes more than a month to get an approval, my people are not doing a very good job, all right? We'll get it done very quickly. With a world-class port and a world-class workforce, this city will soon become one of the premier export hubs anywhere on earth, tripling and quadrupling traffic as your power will lead an American manufacturing boom. We're going to have a manufacturing boom, and a lot of it's just taxation policy, tariff policy. They're going to come roaring back. When they have to pay tariffs to come in, but they have incentive to build here, they're going to come roaring back. It's not muscle. It's all right there. That's a muscle too, they say. By contrast, listen to the deal, Kamala Harris. Have you heard of her? I had the first debate, and after that, Biden was down 21 points. And they went to him and they said, you're going to lose, you can't win, you're out. This is a coup, by the way. This guy had 14 million votes. We're going to put in somebody else. The last person was going to be Kamala Harris, but then they decided to be politically correct, and she got the job. She was the last one. There were 14 people mentioned. She was number 15, and she got the job. And if you saw her with Oprah the other day, or if you saw some of these interviews, there's something going on up there. We just had 4 years of that. We can't have another 4 years. Not going to happen. But she is offering to companies to entice them to keep jobs in America instead of shipping jobs overseas. First, she wants to listen to this. She's called the tax queen. They love her in other countries because she forces everybody out of our country into their hands. The tax queen is demanding a 33% tax hike on all domestic production. Now, you can hate companies and all that, but they fuel growth and they fuel jobs, they fuel everything. You tell these companies, they don't care. They just assume be in Europe. They just assume they don't care. They want to go best price, it's called, best deal. And they're going to leave our country in droves if she does that. It's nice to say, you're going to pay 33% more. And one day you'll read, oh, gee, so-and-so, they just signed with China. They just signed with Germany, they just signed with Great Britain is dying to have. They'll give you free tax. Next, she wants the largest capital gains tax in the history of our country. We've never had a tax. And then she's telling people, build your place here, but we're going to have a brand new wealth confiscation tax. So if you make money, you're going to pay us a lot. But more importantly, it's called an unrealized capital gain. You know what that is? That means that you're going to pay a capital gain even if you haven't realized it, even if you haven't sold. So a lot of people are rich, but they don't have cash. Now they're going to have to get cash because if their thing goes up in value, they have to pay a massive tax. You're going to have deterioration. You're going to have a depression. If that happens, you have a 1929 style depression. This woman is grossly incompetent. Grossly incompetent. Think of it. If a company succeeds, you have to sell it to give her half the value. Half the value is going to be owned by the government. So if it's successful, you'll have to sell it because you don't have the cash. It's a huge success. You're going to make a lot of money in the future. We don't care about the future. Sell your company now, and bad things happen. And nobody's, by the way, nobody's tried it. It's a communist kind of thing. You know that? You could say it's a Marxist thing if you like, but communist you understand better. In addition, Kamala is shutting down power plants nationwide, causing electricity prices to soar more than 100%, going up 100%. They will soon be totally out of control. They already are, and businesses will flee. They're going to flee our country. If they can't get energy, they're going to flee our country, and they're going to flee fast. And yet we have more energy under our feet than any other country. I call it liquid gold. Liquid gold. We have more than Saudi Arabia. We have more liquid gold than Russia, and yet we're buying oil from Venezuela. Why? And it's not really oil, it's tar. You have to melt it. And you know where they melt it? Talk about the environment. There's only one plant in the world that can take care of it because it's really not good. It's the worst. Only one. You know where it's located? Houston, Texas. So in Houston, Texas, they clean this stuff up, and you know where the stuff goes? Right up there. So if you're a big believer in the environment, this is not good. But we have the best oil on earth, and we have the most oil, clean, beautiful stuff, and we have the most. And we're going to use it. As I say, drill, baby, drill. That's what we're going to be doing. Drill, baby, drill. And very importantly, she will close down all fracking and all fossil fuel development, which will bring our country into third world status. She's going to close down all fossil fuels. Germany tried it, but then they replaced Angela with somebody else, and that somebody else is now building a coal plant every single week in Germany. Germany was going to destroy themselves, I will say that. They were going to be out of business. They were having problems like nobody could believe. And that's how Kamala treats the American manufacturers. They can all leave whatever's left of them, and there's not that much. They've gotten rid of so much. But if instead you ship production overseas, then she will give you a tax break. So if you build your product, make your product overseas, she's offering a tax break to make it overseas. Now you wonder why Biden has made so much money from all these countries. I mean, personally made and through the family. Think of that. You get an incentive to build your product outside of the United States. I mean, you don't have to be too good at business to know that's not going to work. It's honestly, it'll destroy our country. And you know, one of the other things, even whatever she's going to do, she wants to do it. She's going to, you know, she's going to the border very soon. She hasn't been there for 4 years. The border czar. I'm not the border czar. Oh, for years, she was the border czar. Right now, she's saying, because it's the worst border in history, but she's going to the border. It's very interesting. But you know what I ask? Well, even her policies now, they're crazy. They're crazy. They'll destroy country. But why didn't they do it 3.5 years ago? Now she's saying, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, whether she's right or wrong. So she had 3.5 years to do it. She didn't do anything. Our country has really gone back to levels. The only employment was all the bounce back jobs that we created. Millions and millions bounce back right after the pandemic. Any pandemic anywhere, you have bounce backs. And they had a bounce back. But you know, out of all the jobs that were created, most of those jobs went to illegal migrants. You know that. It didn't go to Americans. And what's happening with the people pouring into our country is they are killing the jobs of the black population and the Hispanic population. They're taking their jobs. So if you're black or Hispanic, thank you very much. Vote for Trump. You'll be in good shape. It's crazy. Those people are coming in and they're taking the jobs of the black population and the Hispanic. And it makes sense. I mean, why not? And did you see black unemployment rose incredibly in the last 3 months? A lot of people say, why is that? Why is that? They can't. I'll tell you why. Because people are coming in and taking their jobs. That's the way it is. And it's no wonder that under Kamala Harris, we lost 24,000 manufacturing jobs last month. 24,000. We're going to turn that around so fast. We had created 650,000 manufacturing jobs before we even got ready to do it. And now we're ready. We're ready to do it. And the country's ready to do it. We need it. We have to have it. We need a renaissance. It's going to be a renaissance. But this horrific nightmare for American workers ends the day I take the oath of office, January 20th. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you. Thank you very much. So, listen to how good it is. It's so easy. It's so easy. China's used it for years, but we have a better plan than them. But they've used it for years. They can do whatever they want. You know, we have to go through certain hurdles, but not much. The centerpiece of my plan is for a manufacturing renaissance, which will be a 15% made in America tax rate. In other words, if you make your product in America, so the tax rate was practically close to 50%. Some people would say 38, but when you added it all up, some companies are paying much more with state and local, much more than 50%. But I got it down to 21% through Congress. Can you believe we got it through Congress? A lot of people say it was the greatest thing we did. I think maybe rebuilding the military was the greatest thing, maybe the creation, maybe the creation of Space Force was the greatest. You know, we were being beaten badly in space, and now we're the leader in space. China and Russia were eating our lunch, and now we're eating their lunch. And we did so much. We gave you before the biggest tax hikes in the history of our country, and the greatest regulatory cuts in the history. Think of it. We gave you, we took their tremendous tax hikes. We gave you the greatest tax cuts in the history of our country, bigger than Ronald Reagan's tax cuts, bigger than anybody's. And the hikes, they want to do it now. They want to hike your taxes at levels that we've never had before. 80%, 70% was a number that she thought sounded good. But we gave you the biggest tax cuts in history, and now we gave you the biggest regulation cuts, and that's how we had that tremendous growth. That's how we had the greatest job production in history. But this is going to blow that away. We're cutting the business tax now. We brought it down to 21%. So you could say it was over 50, but you could also say it was 39%. We got it down to 21%. Some of you great Congress people are here, and they are very, very instrumental in having done that. But now we're cutting the business tax from 21% to 15%, which makes us the most competitive tax anywhere on the planet, but only for those who make their product in the USA. See, that's an incentive. So we already cut it to 21%, and it was the 21%, that big cut, it was the 21 plus the regulatory cuts that gave us the greatest economy in our history. It was the greatest economy in the history of our country. And now what we're doing is taking it one step further, and a bigger step, actually. We're bringing it down to 15. Now we're the most competitive in the world. At 21, we were pretty good. At 15, we're the most competitive. People are going to be pouring in, companies are going to be pouring in, and we're going to continue with the regulatory cuts, and that'll be at a level, we already beat every record for regulatory cuts. The problem is that Biden and Harris have put many of those regulatory cuts back in the books, and they didn't do anything. They were old, stayed. All they did was stop business. But we have U.S.-based manufacturers will also be rewarded with expanded research and development tax credits. You'll be able to write off 100% of the cost of heavy machinery and other equipment in the first year. And full expensing for new manufacturing investments. So you're going to get full expensing. In other words, you have a one-year write-off. You buy something, you have a one-year write-off, which gives you... I did that 1 year. We had a 5-year deal. During the period, you had a 1 year, you had a write-off, you take it off. The business boomed, and it was coming in at levels never seen before. And had we not been interrupted, and make sure there's no cheating in this election, please. What a different world we would have had. But it all helped to build the sprawling, state-of-the-art plants our country needs to be an industrial superpower in the modern world. We're going to have companies pouring into our country under this plan. And under my plan, we will cut energy and electricity prices in half within 12 months. And that means for your homes, too. We will commit, because of the fact that we're lucky. China does not have this. Can you imagine? They want to go to electric cars, our people. But we don't have the product for electric cars. We have the product for gasoline-powered cars under our feet. And hybrids. And we want to have electric cars. Hey, Elon Musk is great, right? He makes an excellent car, an electric car, and he endorsed me at a level that you wouldn't believe. Every day he said, we can't have Trump. He's a great guy. And he understands his product is phenomenal. And there's a great place for electric cars, but you have to have gasoline-powered cars too. You have to have hybrids. You have to have everything. The new thing, and I'm sure Elon will get it if it's any good, but it's got one little problem. It explodes. Hydrogen. They say the new thing is hydrogen cars, but they're having a problem. If it explodes, you end up about 7 blocks away and you're dead. So personally, I don't know about you, but I'm going to take a pass. But maybe they'll figure it out. But right now, I wouldn't recommend it. But there'll be other things happening, and they'll be great. But we don't want to have, they have the electric mandate. We'll be ending the electric mandate, all electric cars. We'll be ending that immediately. But more importantly, we will be able to quickly double our electric capacity, which will be needed to compete with China and other countries on artificial intelligence. To do artificial, which is a big hot thing that's happening now. They say it's the next big wave. I don't know. It comes with risk, but it's the next hot thing. But it needs massive amounts of electricity. So if you took all of the electricity in our country right now, which isn't enough, because in California with Governor Newsom, you have blackouts and brownouts. How about him? He wants to go all electric cars, but he can't give you air conditioning in the summer, right? Let's go all electric, but we have a blackout every 10 seconds. It's crazy. It's crazy. But we're going to do things that nobody has ever really had the courage to do, but it doesn't take courage. It's common sense. We're the party of common sense, okay? We're conservative, all that stuff. Who cares? We are the party of common sense. We will build new power plants. But think of this, the electric. So if you took all of the electric that we have right now in our country, you need that more than doubled to be able to compete with China. So they need more than double the electricity that we currently have to have the artificial intelligence, which will be a massive field. And China is already building plants, electric plants. And we have a problem because we have things called environmental impact statements and various things that you have to go through. I will get them approved so fast because China doesn't really need approval. President Xi says, okay, build that plant. That's the end. There's no environmental impact statement. I would ask him, President, do you go through an environmental impact statement? He says, I am the environmental impact statement. With us, you go through years and years of torture, but we're going to do it on an expedited basis. And with the lowest energy prices on earth, we will have the lowest energy prices on earth because we got lucky. We're right on top of the best stuff in the world. And I'll put Anwar back into play. You know, for Ronald Reagan couldn't do it. Nobody could do it. They couldn't get it done. Anwar in Alaska, the biggest field probably in the world, maybe bigger than Saudi Arabia. I got it done. I was so proud of it. I got it done. In his first week, they terminated it. The biggest field anywhere in the world that would supply Asia, would make so much money, would pay down debt so fast. And Biden rejected it. And when I terminated the Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2, Biden approved it. But he terminated our pipeline, which is Nord Stream, right? The Nord Stream is the Russia, which is Keystone, the Keystone XL. He terminated our pipeline, but he approved the Russian pipeline, Nord Stream 2, going all over Europe, heading to Germany, but going all over Europe. And I just said, what the hell is going on? This was early on. This is in the first weeks of his administration. And I said, what's going on? And then they say, so think of it. I terminated the Russian pipeline. And then they said, Donald Trump was very friendly with Russia. That was the biggest thing that they've ever done, and I terminated it. When he came in, one of the first things he did is he approved the pipeline that I terminated. And they say, I was nice. That was the biggest. Putin told me, if you're like this, I would hate like hell to see if you were bad. They say that you've been nice to me. You have not been nice to me. With all the sanctions, but we had the fake Russia hoax, which, by the way, endangers our country when they do that. It turned out to be a total fake. Endangers, we can't have that. From the standpoint of even business, we have to be able to get along with other nations. We have to be able to use the minerals and other things that they have. But we have to make the proper deals, because we can, with the proper deals, there will be nobody on earth that can compete with us in business. We will attract energy-hungry industries. There are a lot of industries will never be able to make it in certain areas because they don't have energy, but we have energy-hungry industries that will attract them from all over the planet, meaning millions and millions of blue-collar jobs and jobs of every type. To slash burdens on workers and businesses, we will cut 10 old regulations for every one new regulation. And I did that for 4 years, and we got it up to 7 for 1. Nobody's ever seen. I cut more regulations than any president in history in 4 years. And we will set up special zones of federal land with ultra-low taxes and regulations for American producers. These will be ideal spots for relocating entire industries that we've taken in from other countries. They're going to come in at levels that nobody's ever seen before. They want to be here. They want to be, but they were forced to be out because in this country, we were so unfriendly in so many different ways, but especially with our tax policy. We will seriously expedite environmental approvals, and we will get everything approved quickly to unleash mineral production and rare earth. They think we have to go to China for rare earth. We don't. We have more rare earth than they do, but it's protected environmentally. We can't do anything about it. We're going to do something about it. We're going to use our resources to our benefit. And it'll be clean and environmentally perfect so that Americans can manufacture everything that we need, the resources we have right here. American soil, it's got everything. It's got the rare earth, it's got the oil, it's got the gas. We have everything. The only thing we don't have is smart people leading our country. Thank you very much. We're sitting on trillions and trillions of dollars under our feet, and let's use that to make America rich again. Is that okay? We'll pay off the debt. We'll reduce your taxes. It'll be a beautiful thing. You'll never have this. It'll be a renaissance. It'll be a golden period. It'll be a beautiful period. Finally, to exploit these pro-manufacturing policies, their full potential is going to happen. It's going to happen very quickly. I will appoint a manufacturing ambassador whose sole task, and it'll be a great one, will be to go around the world and convince major manufacturers to pack up and move back to America where they want to be. They want to be. For years, we watched other countries steal our jobs. Now we are going to be going after their jobs and bringing them back to America where they belong and where, frankly, they want to be. They want to be. If Kamala Harris gets 4 more years, she will deindustrialize the United States and destroy our country. We will become virtually a banana republic. We will be destroyed. Their plans are horrible. And if they wanted their plans, again, I say it all the time. I said it during the debate, where, by the way, we absolutely destroyed her, except for the fakers on a microphone. Oh, she did very well tonight. She did very well. She did very well. She couldn't put 2 sentences together. Take a look at her answers. And it was 3-on-1, too. ABC ought to be ashamed. It was 3-on-1. And actually, it's also interesting because after that horrible situation, because it's the fake news all over again. Fake news, you got a lot of them back here, by the way. But it's the fake news. But you know what? My numbers, look at the numbers today. The numbers are higher than they've ever been. We've never had numbers this good. So something happened that was pretty good. But it was interesting. I couldn't believe. I thought she was so bad. I came off that stage. I said, she was so bad. You know, one of the things, he's the GOAT of debates. I said, is that a good thing or a bad thing? They said, greatest of all time, 21 debates. And I thought that was one of my best debates. But, you know, after they spin better than anybody. Well, I don't know if I thought he did too well tonight. And wasn't she really terrific? She didn't say anything. Except lies like a bloodbath, like Charlottetown. She lied. And you know what I say, just in finishing this topic? Because they'll say, oh, he fell into a trap. He talked to me. You know, when somebody says something bad about you, if you then, nobody else, this only happens to me, if I then refute them, Marjorie, if I say, that's not true, and just give a few seconds and people understand it, they say, he fell into a trap. No, if they say bad about me, I got to refute it. I do it quickly, but I refute it. As soon as I refute, oh, he fell into a trap. Why would I let her say something bad about me and let it stand out there? If I don't refute it, people are going to think it's true. These people are the worst. These people are the worst. But it's been amazing what's been happening, and they're hearing what we're doing policy-wise, military-wise, border-wise, maybe especially border. You know, in 2016, I won on the border, and we fixed the border very quickly, and I was very proud of it. After that, nobody wanted me to talk about the border. They said, sir, it's been fixed. You know, I said, I want to talk about the border. They wouldn't let me, even though we got 12 million more votes in the following in 2020. We got 12. But listen, there is more enthusiasm now than there ever was for 2016 or for 2020 because of how bad they are. Because of how good a job we did and how bad they are. Under Kamala, there will be no car industry, no steel industry, no significant manufacturing of any kind, and we will be at risk of military defeat. You know that, right? A very simple fact is this. If you don't have steel, you don't have a military. And I'm not going to allow, and I said it before and I'll say it again, and I got along with a great gentleman, Shinzo Abe from Japan. He was assassinated. He was a great gentleman. But I said, Shinzo, we have to change our trade deal. And he said to me, I knew you were going to come with that. I said, well, why did you know? He said, for 25 years, no American has said that to us. They got away with murder. And we changed the deal. And the deal we now have is really good, but the deal we're going to have is going to be beyond belief with every, not just with Japan, with every company and every, frankly, with their companies and with their nations. I'm not going to allow Japan to buy U.S. steel. I'm not going to let it happen. 70 years ago, again, the greatest company on earth. Vote for Trump and you will see a mass exodus of manufacturing from China to Pennsylvania, from Korea to North Carolina, from Germany to right here in Georgia. They're going to come to Georgia from Germany and lots of other places. And no matter where I go, and I go to a lot of places, we're definitely outworking the opposition. She'll go to one place in 3 days. I say, why can't I do that? Yesterday I was in Pennsylvania. I made 5 stops, 3 speeches. People say, how do you do it, sir? Then I said, where am I going tomorrow? Sir, you're going to Savannah. Oh, what time are we leaving? 8 o'clock in the morning. Oh, great. I got home. You get home at 11, 12, 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning. When am I going tomorrow? I'm going to Savannah, Georgia. Well, I love you, but I wouldn't mind leaving at 11 or 12 or 1. I'd be just as happy to be on. Sir, we're leaving. Sir, we're leaving at 9 o'clock. We're leaving at 8 o'clock. But it's okay. It's okay. It's worth it. But look, the way I look at it, we have no choice. If we don't win this election, we don't have a country anymore. So we're going to work our asses off. We're going to work our asses off. We will bring back the American dream bigger, better, and stronger than ever before. It's going to happen. We're pleased to be joined today by former Senator David Perdue, who is really working hard on the campaign. David, where is David? Where is he? See? He's such a nice guy. He didn't even want to stand up. He just wants to get the job done. That's what you do. You're a great guy, David. I appreciate it. Everyone's telling me you're working so hard. I said, where's David? He's working. And he's working on the campaign. He wants to get it done. We have another great gentleman, a really fine guy, a fantastic political person, Lieutenant Governor Burt Jones. Burt, stand up, Burt. And his incredible father is here. Good genetics in that family. Thank you very much. It's a great honor to have you. Representatives, and these are warriors, Buddy Carter. Buddy. Warrior. Great guy. And a very shy, quiet person, doesn't like mixing it up too much. But she is really highly respected in Washington, and she's fantastic. Marjorie Taylor Greene. And, of course, a woman that we all love, and especially we love her in Georgia, Alveda King. Thank you very much, Alveda, for being here. And I also want to thank Governor Kemp. He's been fantastic. He really has been fantastic, and we're going to get this done. But I want to thank Governor Kemp for his support, great support. Starting on day 1, I will seal the border and stop the migrant invasion of our country. After almost 4 years, border czar Kamala Harris has decided for political reasons that it's time for her to go to the border. Finally, she's gone to the border 4 years. What a disgrace that is, that she waited so long, allowing millions and millions of people to enter our country from prisons and jails, mental institutions and insane asylums, and criminal cells all over the world, not just from South America, but many of them are terrorists, and they are coming from Africa. They're coming from the Congo, large numbers from the Congo. They're coming from the Middle East. They're coming from Asia. They're coming from South America, but not only South America. They're coming from all over the world. It's really just what they're doing to the fabric, to the guts of our country. It's not even believable. And you see what's going on. You see what's going on. They're taking over towns and cities, and they're taking them over with weapons. They're taking them over with weapons that are military quality weapons. Where the hell are they getting the weapons? But she's trying to con the public that she did a good job at the border. She's actually saying, no, I did a good job at the border. Remember, you know, when she says we're working on the border, she still has airplanes flying in loaded up with migrants over the border. She thought she wouldn't get caught. It took them about 2 years to figure that one out. It was a little strange. Brand new, beautiful, large Boeing jets are landing in airports all over our country, and migrants are getting out. It took a little while to figure that one out. So they talk about the border, but they have planes to this day flying in, loaded up, hundreds of thousands of people being flown into all parts of our country, destroying our country. And she's destroyed the very fabric of our nation, allowing 21 million people to come in, at least, into our country. And think of it, totally unvetted, from places unknown, no checks, no names, no nothing, just come on in. But they do. They come from prisons and they come from mental institutions. It's a terrible thing. And many, many terrorists at levels that nobody's ever seen before. You know, during my 4 years, I saw the other day, they had 1 year where they had zero. I don't believe that. This was done by Border Patrol. Oh, you know, I have you know my all-time favorite chart in history, right? I have a chart that's my all-time favorite. I love that. Is it around? Is it around? I love that chart. I sleep with that chart every night. I kiss it. I love it. Because that chart saved my life. I looked to the right. Bing. If I didn't look to the right, I wouldn't be here with you today. I guarantee you that. And it was amazing because that chart is seldom used, because I don't like to brag. It's seldom used. But when it is used, it's always on my left. It's always on my left, and it's always at the end of the speech. And I do a lot of things without a teleprompter. Isn't it nice, by the way, to have a president that doesn't need a teleprompter? Isn't it nice? Because a lot of, I don't often use a teleprompter, because if you use a teleprompter, it gets very boring. You know, if I read every single word, I could go right down and you'd be in and out of here in 35 minutes. You say, that was pretty boring, wasn't it? Even with the good numbers that we're putting up, that would be boring. This chart is the greatest thing ever. I said, let me see the chart, bring it down. That was a lucky one, but maybe not lucky, maybe right up there. Maybe not lucky. Maybe, I think, my two sons are great shooters, and they said, Dad, from 130 yards, a bad shooter couldn't miss with that gun, AR-15. And we lost a great, as you know, great fireman and two other people we thought we lost, but the doctors were phenomenal. The local doctors, they were sort of country doctors. They were phenomenal. They saved them. They're okay. And you know the nice part, a friend of mine came up to me and said, the firefighter, Corey, great guy, beautiful family, beautiful wife, daughters. He jumped on top of his daughters and he got hit right in the head. Right. But you know, I don't know if I've said this publicly, but you know, a friend of mine came, a member of Mar-a-Lago came up to me. He said, I'd like to give the family, and this is not a family with a good life in a safe community. There's no crime. There's no muggings. There's no pushing people into subways. There's no anything. It's a nice community. And Butler. And a friend of mine came up and he said, I'd love to give the family of the fireman a check for something. I said, good. I think it would be great. How much? He said, I don't know. And he handed me a check, signed it, $1 million. I said, wow. And then, and you know, when it was presented to this incredible wife of Corey, really incredible, devastated by what happened. He was a big fan. He was a big Trump guy. He had everything. They all were, all three, but the crowd was as far as they said 55,000 people, as far as the eye could see, and nobody left. You know, when those bullets went off, like if it happens at a soccer game, they hear a bullet, everyone, they call it a stampede, like cattle. It's a stampede, and people are killed. Many people are killed. These bullets went off, but not one. There were a lot of them, 8, 9, and they went off. Secret Service shooter was unbelievable. The local police, actually, they did a great job in terms of the shooting. He may have also hit this lunatic, but think of it. So we gave her the check. She's never seen anything like it. They live a very nice life, but no money, no money. And now she has $1 million. I said, that's only the beginning, because we did a GoFundMe, and they raised about $6 million. And so the other 2 men that got hit were really hit hard. They were not going to make it. First question I ask is, how many people were killed? Because with so many people, no matter where a bullet goes, going to hit somebody. They said 3 are probably dead. Well, the 2 were taken immediately to the hospital. The doctors were great. I was taken to a hospital. The doctor was, the whole hospital was fantastic. I mean, just so professional, so good. He looked at me, he said, you are the luckiest man. I said, no, maybe it's something else, but he couldn't believe it. The doctor said, you know, sir, this would be a good day for you to go to the lottery and buy a nice ticket. Because what happened here, I've never said anything like that. But you know, look, some very good things happen. You know the nicest thing when people say, it was God, and God came down and he saved you because he wants you to bring America back. So many people say that. So many people say that. I hope that's true. I hope that's true. Thank you. And then I had a little more of God's help about 2 months later. You saw that, where a brilliant Secret Service agent, that's all you can say. You know, a lot of people, when they walk down grass, beautiful flowers, very thick shrubs, everything beautiful, they could say, oh, what beautiful, oh, isn't this guy nice? He wasn't looking at this guy. This guy was no games, and he was walking down the middle of that fairway, and he's looking over. And what does he see? He sees a rifle, just a small part of a very big weapon. And he sees a small part of a rifle, the barrel, coming out of very heavy shrubbery. Who's going to see that? Not a lot of people. And he didn't say, who's over there, please? May we talk? No, he took his gun and he started shooting him. And the guy dropped his... No, think of that. That's, you know, that's... Nothing's in the category where I have to turn to right. You have about 1/8 of a second where you're safe. But I'm telling you, God was watching there too. Because you needed somebody really sharp. I give Secret Service a hell of a lot of credit. These are, you know, look, they've been hit hard because of Butler, because, you know, the building should have been taken care of, and they understand that. But when I went down, I had 4, 5, 6 people right on top of me, and there were bullets flying right over our head. A lot of bullets were flying right over our head. They were not sitting back and taking a pass. They were not saying, oh, gee, I'm not going to go over that. That's dangerous stuff. They were on top of me in seconds, and you got to give them a lot of credit. But here you have to give them credit, too, because this agent, I would have been in that location within 10 minutes, right? And right next to the guy, practically. And this guy spotted, shot. But how about this? He then ran. There's a fence in between, cyclone fence. And he then ran across the street, down the block to get his car. Only a woman could do this because men aren't smart enough, I'll tell you. And a woman, pretty busy road, Congress it's called, and pretty busy, but she didn't like the way he looked. Now, I see people running all the time, I don't like the way they look. But I don't follow them. She didn't like the way he looked. He looked very suspicious. He was running like wild because he had to get away from the Secret Service. And his car was about a block away. She followed him, stopped right behind his car, and started taking pictures of his license plate. Who would do that? Who would do that? And I asked our great sheriffs in Palm Beach, I said, so if this happened 1,000 times, how many times would somebody follow somebody and take pictures of the license plate? He said, maybe none. That's right. I mean, that's luck too, or something. But this woman is incredible. And once they had the license plate, they had him in a high-speed chase down the highway. But once they had the license plate, it was over. If they didn't have the license plate, he would still be out there. I wouldn't be very comfortable. I would say, I wonder if he's in this audience. I'd say, where is this lunatic? But this woman was, what she did was amazing. So I've had a very interesting experience for the last couple of months. My profession is a very dangerous one. If you think of it, it's far more dangerous than auto races. 0.1% of the auto races die. 0.1% and a little more of the bull riders, that looks nasty, doesn't it? Die. Presidents, I don't want to tell you the percentage, but it happens to be a very dangerous profession. But you know, the only thing I can say is they only go after consequential presidents. That's true. They only go after consequential presidents. So we are consequential. We're going to be even more consequential because we're going to do things that nobody has ever been able to do in this country. When Kamala is seen at the border on Friday, she will pass hundreds of miles of wall that was built by Trump. And it's wall that really works. And that's why we have, if you look at the arrow on the bottom, the red arrow on the bottom, that was the week I left office. That's the lowest level of illegal immigration in the recorded history of our country. Look at that. Oh, every time I love it, I just go crazy. I love it. But that's the lowest level of illegal immigration, and that includes drugs, and it includes lots of other things. You know, drugs are now coming through our border at about 10 times. We talk about the illegal migrants, but the drugs are pouring through. Fentanyl is pouring through. I had it down to the lowest level, and I had to deal with President Xi in China that he was giving the death penalty. He was going to give the death penalty to anybody, because that's their penalty over there. That's why they have no drug problem. They have the death penalty for drug dealers. He was going to put this category, those that make fentanyl and ship it to the United States was going to get the death penalty. And I told him, if you don't do that, we're not going to do trading with China. We're going to go cold turkey. We're not trading, and we're going to put tariffs on anything that gets through, big ones. And he agreed to do it. And then Biden, of course, dropped the ball, just like he dropped the ball on Israel with Iran. Iran was ready to make a deal. They would have made a deal in 2 minutes, and now they had no money. They had no money, and now they have $300 billion. They made it all in 3.5 years. What a shame. What opportunity has been wasted. When Kamala speaks, be advised, and we have to tell, this woman has allowed record numbers of people into our country. They're from all over the world. They're now creating criminal havoc throughout the country. Aurora, Colorado, you saw that, where Venezuelan gangs are taking over real estate. They've become real estate developers. How nice. No, they're taking over real estate, and they have weapons that even our military hasn't seen. Who's giving them these weapons? But Aurora is a mess. The governor is a mess. You know, the governor is a Democrat, and he's a radical left Democrat, and he's not too popular right now because they're going to take over a lot more than Aurora. They're going to go through Colorado, take over the whole damn state by the time they finish. Unless I become president, they won't last long. And in Springfield, Ohio, so you have a town of 50,000 people. They have 32,000 migrants put into the town almost overnight. And the people are so nice. You know, they want to be nice. They say, well, the mayor is actually looking for interpreters. He's looking all over for interpreters because they can't understand. The language is totally different. What the hell? I'm sorry. You have to move the people back to the country from which they came. You have to. You have to. Every state is a border state now. When she speaks, I hope everybody remembers that she has caused our cities, our towns, and our country itself tremendous damage. Our country is dying. Our country is dying. We're taking all the criminals from all over the world. You know, the crime rates for countries all over the world is way down because they've taken the citizens of their countries have demanded it. They're taking the criminals out and they're moving them and dumping them into the United States of America, and their crime rates are cut in half and less than that. And their jails, which were packed, in many cases are close to empty and very soon will be totally empty because they've taken their prisoners and they've dumped them into the United States of America. We're like a dumping ground, and we're not going to allow it. We're bringing them back. We're bringing them back. And by the way, you know, this is a speech on economic development, but this is a big part of economic development. We can't have factories being built where you have criminals walking down the street with the worst weapons that you've ever seen, with machine guns and everything else. We can't have it. We have to have a safe country, because if you don't have a safe country, everything I talk about today, you can reduce very substantially. So number one, we're going to make America safe, because we have to have a safe country or nobody's going to want to come here. And with her, she doesn't know what the word safe is. You know, she was the head of defund the police. Anybody that heads up defund the police is not qualified to be a president of the United States. And anybody that lies, like she lies about everything. She changed 15 policies. Now, I've watched politics for a long time. I've been involved on the other side for a long time with helping people out. But I've watched for a long time, and I've seen people change 1 or 2 policies. But I've never seen people change 15 policies. She wants to confiscate your gun. Now she said, oh, I won't do that. She wants to have no fracking. She's 100 times no fracking. There will be no fracking in Pennsylvania, right? No fracking. Now she's saying, oh, I'd love to have fracking. But, you know, they always go back to where they were. They always go back because that's it. She's a Marxist philosophy. Her father is a Marxist philosopher, and he taught her well. And that's what you got, and you can't have that. Our country is not ready for this and hopefully never will be. Kamala's, remember one other thing, and I think it's terrible. She lied about McDonald's. She said, I was a worker in McDonald's. And I stood over the French fries. I'm going to a McDonald's over the next 2 weeks. And I'm going to stand over the French fries because I want to see what her job really wasn't like, because she never. I stood over the French fries, and that was tough. It was hot outside, and it was hot over. She never worked there. It was a lie. And when I asked her at the debate, I said, I want to talk about this. ABC said, you know, ABC, which is the worst of them all, by the way. Did you see that David Muir's ratings are way down? I love that, because he lost his credibility. I love it. Kamala's illegals are also crushing your wages and stealing your jobs. Last month alone, think of this, American-born workers lost 1.3 million jobs, and migrants gained 635,000 jobs. So we're putting our migrants to work at a much higher level than our own people, our own citizens. So as we create millions of new manufacturing jobs here in Georgia, nationwide, we will make sure that these jobs go to American citizens, not illegal citizens, people that came into our country illegally. Your wages will rise, your costs will fall, your job opportunities will grow, because we will conduct the largest deportation operation, sadly, in American history. We have no choice. This is not sustainable. And we got to get the criminals out first. We're going to get the criminals, the murderers, the drug dealers. We're going to get them out of here first. And we're going to work with local police. They know everything about them. They know their names. They know their serial numbers. They know everything. Our local police are phenomenal. We just have to let them do their job. And starting on day one, we will end inflation and make America affordable again. We will half. Ready? No tax on tips. No tax on overtime. And for our seniors who have been devastated by this Harris-Biden inflation that was so unnecessary, caused by energy. They let energy go through the roof. It caused it. And also their spending, but I say even more by energy. We're going to have this for our seniors. No tax on Social Security. They deserve it. They deserve it, what they've had to put up with. You know, the people with the tips, they're being tormented by this administration, too. They passed new legislation and have other legislation that was ready to go. All of a sudden, how about her? She comes out a couple of weeks ago, months after I did, but there will be no tax on tips. But that's it. Nothing ever happened. Nothing ever happens with her, because if it did happen, she would have done it 3.5 years ago. That's what I say. And to finish, she lied about McDonald's. She lied. And she lied about almost everything else. And she doesn't understand a question, and she can't give an answer. If you watch Oprah, I knew Oprah very well. She loved me before politics. She was down at Mar-a-Lago. Donald, this is the most beautiful place I've ever seen. Can we have the funeral of Roger King? He was King World, great guy, great guy. Could we have the funeral at Mar-a-Lago? Yes, Oprah, you can. We had his funeral. He's the most important guy and one of the most important people in her life. She was the one that worked it out, but she was there a lot. She loved the key lime pie. I love that key lime pie. But once I ran for politics, it's like, I don't like that guy very much. No, I gave up a lot, but I don't mind giving it up because we're going to make our country greater than ever before. And while working Americans catch up, we're going to put a temporary cap on credit card interest rates at 10%. We have no choice. They're getting 22, 25%. We can't let people have to pay 25% and 22% interest because they can't afford to pay off their credit card. We're going to cap it for a period of time at 10%. We will terminate the Green New Scam and spend the trillions and trillions of dollars of unspent dollars on roads, bridges, real infrastructure, and paying down debt, not fake infrastructure that has caused massive inflation, along with the energy. That bill was just a disaster, just trillions of dollars. That's what caused all of the inflation, those two things. I will settle the war in Ukraine, and I will end the chaos in the Middle East, and I will prevent something that nobody else will be able to do. I will prevent World War III, and you are very close to World War III. Biden and Kamala got us into this war in Ukraine, and now they can't get us out. They can't get us out. I watched him. We will win. We will. He's been saying that for 3 years. Every time Zelensky comes to the United States, he walks away with $100 billion. I think he's the greatest salesman on earth. But we're stuck in that war unless I'm president. I'll get it done. I'll get it negotiated. I'll get out. We got to get out. Biden says, we will not leave until we win. What happens if they win? That's what they do, is they fight wars. As somebody told me the other day, they beat Hitler, they beat Napoleon. That's what they do, they fight. And it's not pleasant, but, you know, we've given them close to $300 billion. And you know what Europe has given them? Which is approximately our size when you add up the countries together. Their economy, it's very close to our size. They've given them like a small fraction of that number, just a small, very small fraction. And we have an ocean separating. It's much more important for... Now, why aren't they? You know why they are? Because Biden has never even asked them. I guarantee you. Do you think Biden lies awake at night thinking, how are we going to get Europe to pay? No, he goes to sleep. Here's a guy can sleep on the beach. How do you sleep on the beach when you have cameras on? I will never sleep on the beach in front of live television, I promise. No, the other day he was out cold. I said, is he sleeping? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's a great thing. If you're able to sleep with live television going, somebody told him he looks great in a bathing suit. You know, when you're 82, When you're 82, it's never too pretty. And I love 82-year-olds, but when you're 82 in a bathing suit, I don't know, you know? But he actually he was stone cold out. You got to give him credit, though, you know, because anybody that can do that, I find it very hard to sleep. I get so many ideas. I'm thinking all the time. This guy just goes out. Lies down, goes out, pictures of him. It's pretty sad when you think about it, right? We laugh, but it's sad. And nobody told us he was cognitively impaired. She didn't say it. She didn't say it. And that puts our country at great danger because President Xi is at the top of his game. All of these guys that we're competing against are all at the top of their game. He's not. He hasn't been for a long time. And that puts us at great risk and great danger. We will rebuild our cities, including Washington, D.C., making them safe, clean, and beautiful again. And we will keep the U.S. dollar as the world's reserve currency. Because it's under tremendous siege right now. And if we lose that, then we are indeed a third world country. We cannot allow that to happen. We have so many enemies now. We have so many people. You know, I had no wars other than ISIS, which I inherited, and I finished off ISIS in 4 weeks instead of 5 years that they thought. Because we have a great military that I rebuilt. I rebuilt our military. Sadly, $85 billion of it went to Afghanistan. Can you believe that? Should have never happened. You take the soldiers out last. You don't take the soldiers out first. Took the soldiers out, and then after they took the soldiers out, the Taliban had a field day. What a horrible thing. We lost 13 great soldiers, many wounded so horribly, the legs, the arms, the face obliterated so badly. Nobody ever talks about them. They talk about those that were killed, and I love those families. I know the families. They've never even called the families, but they were 13 killed, great people. But we also left behind billions and billions of dollars worth of the best military equipment in the world. And now Afghanistan is one of the largest sellers of military equipment. 777,000 rifles and guns, 71,000 vehicles, many of them armor-plated. But you have to see goggles and planes and tanks. What the stupidity of these people. We have to get back to a country again. We have to be respected. They laugh at us all over the world. They're laughing at us. And you know what they're really laughing at? Kamala, because they can't believe that she's going to be president. They can't believe. You talk about cognitive problems. She's got bigger cognitive problems than he has, in my opinion. This is how we're going to end the era of inflation and mayhem, misery. Under Kamala and Crooked Joe, we had such misery. Think about what we've been through with the inflation, with the wars all over the world. Prime Minister of Hungary, Viktor Orban, strong man, really a great leader, didn't allow anybody into his country. He said, no, I don't want people blowing up our shopping centers. I don't want people killing our people. But he said, when he was asked recently, a couple of times, just recently, he said it numerous times, they said, why is the world blowing up? The Middle East is blowing up. Russia looks like it's going to end up in a World War III. All of these problems are happening. They weren't here. He said, it's one simple reason. Donald Trump isn't president. You make Donald Trump president of the United States. Nobody understood him. Everybody was afraid of him. They feared Donald Trump. I don't want to be the one. He said it. I didn't say it because it sounds sort of, but he said it. He said they feared. China feared him. Russia feared him. They all feared him. We had no problems. Russia was never going into Ukraine, and they didn't. For 4 years, they didn't. When I left, they just went in. It was the apple of his eye. I know him very well. Had a good relationship with him, especially since the hoax created by Hillary and Shifty Adam Schiff and all these people, these lowlifes. And you know the danger, by the way, you know the danger that that kind of stuff causes our country? Tremendous risk. Fortunately, it worked out fine, but there's tremendous risk when you start doing that crap, all made up stuff, made up stories of fantasy land. We will unleash safety, prosperity and peace for Americans of every race, religion, color, and creed. We're going to have prosperity the likes of which this country has never had. And together we will deliver low taxes, low regulations, really low energy costs. I am going to get the energy costs, forget about companies, it's going to happen for them too, same thing. We're going to get your energy bills reduced by more than 50% within the first 12 months of my administration. And I'm talking now house owners and renters and everybody, your car, everything's going to go way down, and that's going to lead a wave of bringing some of these horrible prices down because interest rates are now, think of it, 10%. We had them at 2%. But low interest rates, low inflation, you're going to have all of this. You're going to get really low interest rates again because when the energy goes down, the interest rates are going down too. It's honestly not that complicated. Not easy to do, but I know how to do it. And I did it once, and it was incredible. Just go back and compare your prices with what you're paying for things today with what you were paying 4 or 5 years ago. You won't even believe the difference. So that everyone can afford, I want to make sure that everybody can afford groceries, a car, and a home, the basics. I want to make sure that our young people can experience the potential, at least, of the American dream. We will stop the invasion. We will end migrant crime. We're going to support our great police. We're not going to be defunding our police. She'll go back to defunding the police. Do you know, I have the support of virtually every major police group in the United States. I just got the support from the Fraternal Order the other day. 400,000 police, but virtually every, I don't think she has one. I don't think, because she's horrible on crime, and she's going to be horrible on crime. She's horrible on the border. She's horrible on business. She's bad on everything. Other than that, she's just fine. What a mess our country's in. And we're not going to have, you know, somebody said the other day, if she won, you literally may never have another election. This could be your last election. And, you know, I used to say it about Venezuela. Remember years ago, I'd say, Venezuela better be careful. And I'll tell you what, we better be careful because we'll end up being Venezuela on steroids. That's where we're headed. If this communist gets in to be president, if she's the president of our country, we're going to have problems the likes of which this country has never had. And once you have those problems, it never comes back. You don't see them coming back. They never come back. We're going to strengthen our military. I rebuilt our military, but now we have to strengthen it again. We're going to build a missile defense shield around our country. We need that protection, just like Israel has and just like some others have. And it's going to be made largely right here in the great state of Georgia. You do a lot of that. No, we want to have a shield, and we deserve a shield. And you have some lunatics out there that are not loving us too much, and we're not going to let it happen. We're going to build a shield. It's going to be all made in the USA. You know, when we build an airplane, and I changed a lot of it, some of those planes are made with parts from 21 different countries. Do you ever hear of anything so stupid? So in a war, we won't be able to get a part from various countries. We can't build the planes. And the steel, too. We need steel for our ships. We have to build great ships. We can't say to China, listen, we're in a war. I won't say with them because I don't want to give you any ideas. We are in a war. We need some steel. Can you send it to us? No, we're not going to send you any steel. What are we going to do? We have to have our steel. We have to have our steel plants. There are some things we cannot let others do. We're going to keep critical race theory and transgender insanity the hell out of our school. And we're going to keep men out of women's sports. We will defend the Second Amendment, restore free speech, and we will secure our elections. They're going to be so secure. Everyone will prosper, every family will thrive, and every day will be filled with opportunity and hope. But for that to happen, we must defeat Comrade Kamala Harris, and we must stop her country-destroying. This is a country-destroying liberal agenda that we have to stop once and for all. We have to stop it. We cannot let this continue. So get everyone you know, get out and vote. We want a landslide that's too big to rig. Too big to rig. You know, at a certain point, they can't cheat. You know, when it's too big to rig, you know what that means, pretty obvious, but we want to make it so it doesn't matter. Too big to rig, and I think we're getting close to that in Georgia right now with a lot of great help. A lot of great help. On November 5th, we will save our economy. It will go down as the most important day in the history of our country, far beyond our economy, because we're going to save our country. It will be the most important day, November 5th, in the history of our country. We will rescue our middle class. We will reclaim our sovereignty and restore our borders. We will put America first, and we will take back our country. Thank you. God bless you, and God bless America. Thank you very much. Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
All right, so the music starts playing. That's when I need to start talking. Wow, so he went for a long time, which was basically a lot for a speech. But I got my notes here, and there's a lot to go over. A lot of stuff we need to go over. So I'm going to start and at the end and work my way back. He's doing a dance. Dude's fired up, man. He's flying all over the country, doing all these things, and just what kind of energy this guy must have at 78 years old to be doing this. Like he said, he got home 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. They're like, hey, you got to be in Savannah at 8 or 9. Like, okay, let's do it. So I'm not sure if he meant from Mar-a-Lago or if he was up in New York. But if he was in Mar-a-Lago, not that long of a trip. He can get to Savannah very quickly on that jet. Love it. Absolutely love it. So he took her to task hardcore, man. I mean, bam, bam, bam. So let's go ahead and dig into some of the stuff that he said. Right quick here. I'll start towards the end and work our way back. Steel. Cannot believe that we're looking at other countries basically having to provide us steel. And you're going to see a prevailing theme here. Because as I listened to what he had to say, and as I listened to the various things he was talking about, what came across to me, which may come across to you as well, these are pretty much common sense things. When did the United States get off of the common sense standard? When do we start doing wacky stuff that just like is stupid? It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. How can we not have produce steel? How can we not be producing steel in this country? How can we not be producing concrete? Why are we bringing everything in? What was it that the Democrats wanted to do and take all of our resources and say, no, we're not going to do it here. Let's just go ahead and enrich other countries. When you put it that way and you see that perspective, you realize what they were trying to do, and I'll say it, you guys probably already know the term, redistribution of wealth. People hated that that America was so wealthy. They resented us as a country and as a people, and then somehow the communist, globalist World Economic Forum said, we need to take that wealth from America and put it in other areas. Let these other countries, basically feel good about themselves because, they were poor for so long, and you Americans, it's not fair, equitable, all the BS that they keep spouting. So we haven't been producing steel. We haven't produced as much concrete as we should have. So he wants to turn that around, which to me is a common sense approach. I don't know how you would have a problem with America producing more steel and other rare minerals, like he said, rare earth. This one was funny because it leaked out, or they may have put it out, some of the stuff he was going to say. And these so-called economists were all freaking out that he wanted to cap credit card rates at 10%. And I read a couple of the articles this morning because I know as soon as he says something, immediately they have to react negatively. So to cap credit card rates at 10%, even if it's temporarily, they're saying would basically hurt people from getting credit. Because if the bank can't absorb the risk, then they won't extend credit. Maybe you shouldn't have a credit card if you're an exorbitant risk to the lender, the bank, the credit card provider. Maybe you're not there yet. Oh, shudder to think. Oh my God, you're telling me I can't have a credit card? Yeah, that's how it used to work. Everybody didn't get a mortgage. Everybody didn't get a car loan. Everybody didn't get a credit card. You had to show the merit. Prove that you were worthy. You just didn't say, hey, listen, I'd like to get a credit card. What are you going to do for me? The banks were like, okay, the government's pushing us. We'll give it to you a credit card. We're going to make it at 29%. And people who don't know math or economics think, well, I got a credit card and it's got a $500 limit. It's got a 29%, interest rate, which you will never, ever, ever pay off because you're not in a position to, if you're getting a 27, 28% interest rate, now I don't mean to step on any toes right now, then maybe you're not ready for a credit card. You see, credit interest rates are determined by a number of things. Much of it is based upon your, quote, credit history and your ability to pay. So, if you have shown a propensity not to be able to pay, then yeah, it's going to cost you more. But nobody's twisting your arm saying you need to do it. Now, I understand there's people out there, and the whole thing about rebuilding credit, well, that's fine, because after you'd only need to do that for 6 months, then you would have rebuilt your credit, and then you should be able to get a 10% rate if you go through the right merchant. Anyway, so I'm all for capping credit cards at 10% because the people who are paying more probably shouldn't have credit cards. Now, you know what they're going to say, because you know who that impacts. Yeah, that mostly impacts Shaniqua, Frederica, all the weird names, because it's not fair. I don't have a credit card. I got to keep using my debit card. Well, you don't have to. You can actually do what everybody else does. Get a job, show your history, show your merit, and then increase. I've said it here many, 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 many times. I'll say it again. Trump is the only person who's talked about helping people with their credit cards. Elizabeth Warren, just the opposite. She wants to basically just make everything equal. Doesn't matter. But you notice she never said anything about how or why you would have these credit card bureaus. What are they called? Experian, TransUnion, I forget what the third one is. And where they keep these databases of, hey, listen, in 1974, you took out this loan, you didn't pay it back, and it's still on your credit report, and we allow all these people to buy it so they can keep coming after you, and as soon as you contact them and make a payment, they extend it. There should be a defined period of time. If something hits your credit report, those credit bureaus need to take it off within that period of time, or they can get sued. Why do TransUnion and what's the other one? Experian, I forget the third one. Equifax. Why do they get to just keep putting your stuff out there that you never see? They made a rule that says you can draw down and see what's on your credit report once a year for free, but then go ahead and try and fix that stuff. So I'm all for that. Then he wants to go after companies to have them open businesses here. How could that possibly be a bad thing? If there's a company overseas and he's like, build it here. If you build it here, we'll do some favorable things for you. Because why? Well, you're going to employ Americans. So we want you to open your business here on U.S. soil, not over there. Bring it in. We'll help you out. Oh, so they're going to give tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires. Guess what? That billionaire or millionaire who owns that business, who's bringing it back to the United States, is going to employ hundreds, if not thousands of people. Trade-off? Sounds like a great trade-off to me. Love this one. This one was just brilliant. I don't even know how Kamala can even use federal lands to relocate those businesses. Now, if you drive up and down 95 and you get into some rural areas, there's just all kinds of empty land. Much of it, if it's not owned by Bill Gates, is owned by the United States government. Just sitting there, just acres and hundreds and thousands of acres, especially right by the highways. Just owned, just sitting there. Why not put up, complexes where people can open manufacturing companies? Put people to work and make stuff. Everything, and I'm guilty of it too as I'm looking around, I bet you everything within arm's length of where I'm sitting right now, if I flip it over, says China or Korea or wherever. Everything on my desk, I'd love if it said made in South Dakota, Montana, Georgia. Everything on this desk, I bet you pretty sure is from another country. The monitors, the cameras, I know are from another country. The lighting fixtures. Why aren't American companies doing this? Why it's too expensive? Why is it too expensive? Because the Democrats want to pay somebody $30 an hour to basically put a rivet in something and in these outlandish union stuff. So we'll give you a tax break to come in, open up your company, because we know you're going to have to pay union dues and all this other kind of crap, but you're going to employ hundreds, if not thousands of people. Problem? I don't have a problem with that. Use the federal land. It's just sitting there. It's wasted. Cut regulations. I forget what the exact ratio it was. I think it was for every regulation you put into effect, he wants to cut like 4 or 5. Yeah, there is so much red tape in doing business. I've been in real estate for a long, long time. I've told you guys. Do you have any idea from the time you identify a piece of property to the time where you can basically put the key in the door and sell it, how much crap you have to go to and how long it takes? And that's even on a local basis. Never mind federal. I'm taking it all the way down to the local basis. I recently put a contract in on a house that needs renovations and need to fix it and everything else. So what you have to do is, listen, you're going to need a permit for a new roof. Okay. How much? Okay, here's a check and here's the permit for the roof repair. When am I getting a permit? Oh, we're going to send somebody out in a week or two, take a look at it, make sure everything's okay, and then we'll sign off on it. Okay. Meanwhile, the interest is running on the loan that you put on the property. All right, so I want to put in a new kitchen, and I want to change the electric, and I want to go ahead and basically put in new floors and new walls. Ho, ho, ho. You're going to need an electrical permit. You're going to need a mechanical permit. You're going to need a demo permit because you're going to rip the other stuff out. Sign some checks. Give us an architectural plan. Oh, you don't have an architect? You got to go hire an architect. And God forbid you're moving walls, you may need an engineering report. Gotcha. That's going to cost how much? Yeah, okay. How long is all this going to take? Hey, can't tell you. We can't move until you get the architect's plans. That may take 2 or 3 weeks depending on how busy he is, so you're just going to sit there. Oh, now that we got the architectural plans, we'll review them in the next, couple of weeks to get back to you. Oh, we found something on these plans. This is going to require a variance. You're going to have to come to a town hall meeting. You're going to have to ask the Board of Commissions if you can get a variance to do what you want to do. When's the next hearing? Oh, that next hearing? Yeah, we're looking at about November 5th. That was all off the top of my head. I could go further and further and further. It's red tape after red tape after red tape. And I understand safety. Want to make sure people do things right, that they're not cutting corners, putting in Chinese drywall. I understand all that. But you're writing checks and you're waiting and waiting. Regulations are crazy. Don't even think about it if you happen to buy land next to like where a gas station was. Now the feds do come in. because now they got to do a soil analysis, make sure that nothing seeped into the soil. And oh, God forbid, if something seeped into the soil, now you got to access the Superfund because you got to clean up all that dirt down 10, 12 feet. It's exhausting. And nobody ever thinks about it. They just think that people are rich. Hey, you're buying houses, you're fixing up houses, you're making money. It's perfect. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about all these regulations. I saw a bunch of people say in here that Trump should do away with property tax. Not so fast, my friend. Property taxes are local. If you go into your city's assessor's office and look, that's assessed down here in Florida. The taxes are assessed by the county. That's not federal. So he has nothing to do with that. Big distinction. Again, what I had put down here, why isn't this just all common sense? Why is it a fight to do things with the government and City Hall? Why do people go, I got to fill out this form and give it to the government? And then you wait. And you wait. They don't make you wait like that when they're coming after you for IRS. But when you need something, sign off, take months. But the big thing he said today, after all those somewhat big things, the big thing he says, which is going to cause the economists on the left to do conniptions and backflips and everything else, is making making products in America, your tax rate, if you have a business doing stuff in America, would drop down to 15%. And I went, poof, game over. Game completely over. Every single person you know right now, to the individual, including Mark frickin' Cuban, you're going to do what? You're going to lower the tax rate for products made in America down to 15%? Who would be against that? Oh, Democrats will. Because if it's less taxes, that's less money. I opened the show with that. The less the taxes are, it means the more money they can't spend. Oh, we can't have that. That's horrible for America. Count on it. It's 2:45 right now, 2:50. By 4 o'clock, the articles will be running. They'll be posted everywhere. Trump, with his his tax plan, he wants to lower taxes to 15% for millionaires and billionaires. I have a question, Democrats. How do you think people become millionaires and billionaires? I mean, you keep pointing them out as if it's bad. How do you think these people become millionaires and billionaires? Well, it's because they're working, they're creating businesses, and if they got to keep more of their own money, they become millionaires and billionaires. Trump built buildings. They got his name on it, and he built them. And of course, if you're an entrepreneur and you're actually out there making money, you are going to run into some hiccups and lose sometimes. Everybody makes a big thing about it that his companies have filed bankruptcy 6 times. I want you to sit back and think of something. I started following Trump back in the 80s. Nearly 45, 50 years ago. So you're telling me this man, his companies, the vast amount of his companies internationally, has filed bankruptcy as a company, I don't know, 5 or 6 times in 50 years? And you think that's a bad thing? So you're telling me that basically he's been batting over a good amount of success? You got more ups than you have down, and you try to sell that to the American people as though that is a bad thing? That's because you've never been in business, Kamala. That's because you've never been in business, Dementia Joe. That's because you've never been in business, Elizabeth Warren. That's because you've never been in business, AOC. You have to understand, when these people are saying this stuff, they're complete friggin' idiots. Absolute idiots. They couldn't do a balance sheet. They couldn't run a small tavern. She was a bartender, AOC. She never said I was the manager of the bar. Never said I was the owner of the bar. You just showed up and made drinks. The people who actually ran things had to order the liquor, make sure that the taxes for the liquor were paid, make sure the lights were on, had to make sure that they handled their cash flow. But you just made drinks, and now you're complaining about people being millionaires and billionaires. Except for the people that you align with, like Bernie or Elizabeth Warren. Did you guys know that Elizabeth Warren was a real estate investor? Just saying. The hypocrisy is so deep. Don't look at what I'm doing. It's those Republicans. Nancy Pelosi makes millions on her stock plays. Millions. Big time millionaire, worth about $250 million or more. She's one of those millionaires and billionaires, but she works for the government. So that's different. The guy who owns a gym, who has to buy the equipment, which is another thing Trump talked about. He talked about major equipment purchases. So if you have to buy a truck, a tractor, one of the John Deere tractors, a couple pickup trucks, all the different things you need to do business, he wants to give you a tax break for that. Ignorant people don't understand business. Ignorant people don't know in order to pay taxes, you have to be generating revenue. Your own revenue. It's funny, sometimes I see the comments in here, and they kind of just make me snicker. There was one comment, let me see if I can pull it up here. And I realize at this point that sometimes these people don't understand business. I saw this guy commenting. I had to bounce him because he got nasty. Barry, the commercials are too much. Let me ask you a question. Have I asked you for a weekly or monthly fee to watch my videos? No, I haven't. Not once. Yes, some people donate, which I appreciate greatly, but I don't charge for this. When you turn on your television, whatever station, even the stations you hate, and even the stations you don't tell us you actually watch, unless it's Pornhub, you don't pay for it. You pay for the cable, but you don't pay for the individual stations. Those stations make money because of the eyeballs that the show attracts, which then allows the people to pay the salaries of the people who work on those shows. YouTube is no different. I create content that garners eyeballs, and advertisers pay to be associated with those eyeballs. I am not a charity. I am not doing this because it's fun, although it is. I wouldn't do it if it wasn't fun, but you know what I mean. I do it because it's profitable. How is it profitable? Well, Lear Capital pays me to, basically talk to you people about buying gold, which I keep telling you, that's not even an investment. That's a currency exchange. That's another story. And from time to time, you'll see other sponsors get involved because they have a product that they think some of the people watching may be interested in. I am very, 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 very selective in who I do business with because I understand, having worked in an advertising agency for a long time, the product has to meet the demographic. If I did a product and I aligned with them, and that product was to Temu or something where it's like, hey, do this, but nobody in this age group and the demographic who watch my videos want to hear it, then it wouldn't matter, and I would fail and they would fail. So I have to be very selective. But in any event, the commercials that you see are the same thing as what you're seeing on television. Somebody wants to pay to allow you to watch Monday Night Football. Monday Night Football gets tens and millions of people who watch it. Of course, when they call timeout and they roll the commercial, we all say, oh, this sucks. But we want to see the game. So the commercials you see on this channel, the volume of which YouTube controls, I just allow them. I click a button and says, yes, go ahead and run commercials, because that's how I make my money. I'm in a business. I know a lot of people don't realize how all this works, but it's a business. Everything Trump has said today helps business people move further down the road in terms of income and revenue. Just maybe break it down to something as simple as what I do. I now, once he gets elected, I could go talk to, excuse me, a camera company. And I could say, listen, I want a 4K. No, I want an 8K camera that enables me to do live streaming, that is clear, and it interacts with my software. And then I'm going to need a new soundboard as well. And these people say, well, here's what you would need to do it. Oh, it's going to cost you X thousands of dollars. Cool with me, because now I'm only paying 15% tax. Somebody had asked me, can you break it down? That's how you break it down. Robin's brother is in construction. My father was in construction. Every single year, they know with their taxes, they need to go out and buy different trucks. Oftentimes, they'll lease trucks. Why? Because they have to take the tax break in order to continue doing business the way they want to do it. So, my father used to buy dump trucks. And when he would buy the dump trucks, he would be able to write that off as a huge expense that, for his business. And it's not fraudulent. They're riding around the trucks and everything else. Gonna do it. They got to transport goods. How do you think that stuff happens without tax breaks? I mentioned the guy who runs a gym. How do you think your gym ever expands? How did they get the new Pilates machine and the new leg extension machine? Well, I could buy this, but then, I'm going to be short on cash. Don't worry about that. Go ahead and buy it. You can take it off your taxes. Yes. That's how business works. People don't understand it. All of this, every YouTube channel that you see that is being funded somehow by somebody's business. I know this one guy who complained, he's like, I'm going to go over to RSBN because they don't have, I almost laughed, they don't have ads. Really? You guys know sometimes I pull the feed from Right Side Broadcasting. You've been here. You ever notice when Trump is speaking and then they go to a split screen and they're showing Trump here, and over here is what? An ad. People need to wake up. And people on the right need to wake up as well and understand this entire world, especially this entire country, is driven by entrepreneurial and big business. Without it, this country ceases to exist. Kamala Harris wants to usher that in. She's not a friend to business. She thinks business is an impediment to government. The government should govern you. Govern me harder. That's what they want. They don't want entrepreneurs doing business. You guys have noticed there's been a few more additions to the moderators here. You guys may have noticed that I'm doing contests and I'm flying people in and I'm getting ready to do a merchandise store and different things like that. That allows you to reinvest into other areas. It allows me to hire other people and say, hey, listen, can you run the merchandise store? Can you handle the production on this or that? Hey, I need an editor. Can you go ahead and do the editing? All that happens because things start to grow. And if Kamala says, hey, you're going to have to pay 40% on unrealized capital gains, like what? And we're going to raise your tax rate to like 30 or 40%. What? You know what it affects? It affects anybody else I have to hire. It's like, hey, listen, I got to worry about me and Robin and Ashley, so I can't have you, Mr. Editor. I can't have you, Mr. Producer. That was a quick business lesson. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Some people had asked some questions about X. Let me just explain something. I am not at all thinking about leaving YouTube. Not doing it. That's not what I was referring to. I was referring to doing something else in addition to what I'm doing right here. I love doing this. In addition to that, I was thinking, because some people, I get so many emails from people, hey, did you talk about this? Did you hear about this? Hey, how do I get a hold of you? Okay, So let's move into a membership where we have people who would like to engage further. And Ashley and Tommy and SB and a couple of the guys came together and said, let's go ahead and do a Discord server so we can get people who, after the show, can also get involved here. If you notice, YouTube comments are basically not suited for, it's all one way. So if we move to a membership site for people who really have more and want to engage better, think of it like our own little Facebook where you can post something. You notice you can't post anything here on YouTube. You can say a comment, hey, I thought that was pretty cool. That's it. But imagine, hey, Barry, hey, Tommy, if you want to interact. Hey, did you guys see this article in the New York Times? Well, maybe I didn't. Well, now it's in our Discord. Hey, guys, did you see this video by Dan Bongino? No, I didn't. It's right here. That's what I'm looking to do. The YouTube stuff is what it is. We're building it. We're going to keep going. Nothing is going to change there. Understand. I'm not leaving here. Not going to happen. I'm just looking at doing a basically an inner circle type thing where people can interact and talk and post stuff and really get involved with things on a deeper level. Won't be for everybody. Yeah, there'll be a fee associated with it, and we're not sure where that's going to be. But that's all that is. And so I was looking and saying we could do it here, but then it's just the same content. Whereas if I did it on a separate site or on Twitter, we could just do it there because there's no censorship there. Some of the people said, it's just like questions, is Twitter free? Yes. And somebody goes, is it really free? Yes. Twitter is, X rather, is 100% free. Doesn't have to be free. I mean, you can do different things you want, but just to join and be able to see the content, 100% free. If I do a subscription over there, it may have a fee associated with it, but in that regard, you'll see closed content that I'm not showing to other people. But I'm leaning more towards either Twitter or a personalized site, but we'll see. Another question that came in, would you still keep the prayer group going? Yes. Nothing on YouTube that you currently see will change. Nothing. I'm not looking to take content away. I'm looking to add content. So that's a completely different. Somebody said, what would your subscription cost? That's going to be something that Ashley and Tommy and SB are going to research and probably talk to some of you guys and settle in on what that number would be. I mean, and if it doesn't work, then we change it. So it has nothing to do with what we're doing here. Jay Smith said, I've tried to send you stuff I found on X, but it won't let me. I don't know why. I get tons of stuff all the time. Unless it's porn or it's been declared misinformation or it's I get stuff all the time, so you'd have to give me more information as to why you found something and it won't let you. Barry, I've followed your channel over here for over 3 months. Please know that even with restrictions, you're getting your point across. Your subscribers and views are rising. Yep. Again, let me just punctuate that. I am not doing anything different on YouTube. Everything's going to be... Not only am I not doing anything different, man, keeping up with this guy is driving me crazy. I mean, just... He doesn't stop. He's got 6 events, well, actually now 5 more events this weekend. It's Tuesday, isn't it? I forget the day. It's Tuesday. Here, let me show you everything this guy's got planned, which we will be talking about. Literally, this guy is the Energizer Bunny. Let me just show you some of this stuff here. Here we go. Boom. This is the schedule coming up. This was today in Savannah. You guys just saw that. Tomorrow, he's going to be in Mid Hill, North Carolina. That'll be a 12:30 show as well. And then Friday, he's got 2. He's in Walker, Michigan at 2 p.m. and he's in Warren, Michigan at 6 p.m. So he's got 2 events on that day. So we're talking after today, 1, 2, 3, and then Saturday he's got a real early one in Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin, and he keeps adding them over. So this guy's moving. And then, of course, next Tuesday is the vice presidential debate, so we'll be covering that. And then there was a question in here about whether or not I was going to cover the election night. Seriously? You think I'd miss the election night? Of course we're going to do the election night. Of course. So that's pretty much... is it 420 yet? What's that? It's like Americans, the Democrats are looking to put holes in your pockets. Yeah, exactly. Tax incentives. Tax incentives drive everything, man. There's nothing wrong with that, except that they have a high problem. It means money they can't spend. Give us a high ballpark figure. Oh, the membership? I mean, anywhere between $2.99 and $4.99 a month. That's about it. $2.99 to $4.99. I think what we're going to do too is when you sign up, first 100 people will get a free T-shirt as well. Already on X and following you, say the word, Barry. Let's do it, man. Will there be a fee for the Discord? Nope. I mean, once you join the membership, you have access to the Discord. Tommy and Ashley, if I've got that backwards, let me know if I'm wrong about that. Those guys put it together. By the way, thanks to them and SV and Travis, all the guys who worked on the Discord. It's ready to go. They've been waiting on me, so that's great. When is the VP debate? The VP debate is October 1st. October 1st is the debate. No, not $2.99. No, $2.99, not $299. The VP debate is the 10th? I thought it was the 1st. See, now you're going to make me look it up. For some reason, I thought it was the 1st. VP debate. Make sure I'm not doing some misinformation here. Nope, it's VP debate is Tuesday, October 1st, 9 to 10:30. So I'll put up a screenshot for that so we can get everybody in here on that. But yeah, it's October 1st, 9 o'clock to 10:30. Can't wait for that. Yeah, SV and Tommy and Ashley have been working on it. They're ready. It's me. It's been all on me. She and I have been talking behind the scenes. It's 10-1. It's not the 10th, Chad. Chad, if you wait till the 10th, you're gonna miss it, bro. It's on the 1st. What is a Discord? Somebody's asking. A Discord is basically like a forum. That's the best word I can. And it's fully interactive. You don't just have to be talking to me. You can talk to other people. You can say, like I said, hey, I saw this picture of Kamala with, I almost said the guy's name. The guy who owned that island. Is it AI? Is it real? And you can post a picture. Hey, listen, I saw this thing about X, Y, and Z. I saw this thing about the would-be assassin. His son just got arrested for child diddly. I can't even say it. I can't even say what the guy got arrested for here. That's specifically what I'm talking about. Big news came out this morning. The would-be assassin's son got arrested, and I can't even tell you what he got arrested for. Because the words in the arrest, which have to do with, 300,000 kids missing, now you probably know, I can't even say that's specifically the kind of thing we need to move off this platform so we can talk about it. We're adults. We can handle it. Robin yelled at me this morning, by the way. I have to apologize. She said some of the stuff I said yesterday was really dark, and I didn't warn people to pray about some of the stuff I say, because some of the stuff, once we get into it, somebody asked me a question. I'm going to give you an answer, and then I'm going to tell you where to go look. And some of it, might be a little dark. So if we get into certain things about the red pillage, and we start talking about it someplace else, say a prayer. It's like, God, watch over me as I dive into this little pond. Like I said, when she sat down with me one night, she's like, look, can you tell me about what everyone's talking about? What exactly is this and what is that? And my eye is tearing from allergies. And I would tell her, I was like, I don't think you're ready to go there yet. And then one night, she's like, just show me some stuff. I'm like, okay. And I told you, next morning, Robin, you can go ahead and make comments if she's up there. She was like just sitting there in tears. So be careful. Are you ready for the hurricane on Thursday? Nope, we're just going to get rain here. It's going up the west side of the state and out into the Gulf. And of course, that magnet that it's going to hit Louisiana. That's what the models are saying right now, but not on our side. Yeah, keeping up with Trump is hard. I mean, think about it. His entire entourage must be like, damn, dude, are we on the road again? Okay. No, I'm sure his entourage is not like that, because if he saw anyone react that way, they would no longer be around him. When he says we're going, yes sir, not like wow, man, I'm tired. Well, you no longer have to worry about that. Step. I don't want somebody I want someone who's ready. In fact, you need to be on the plane before I get there. That's the type of guy. No, the model's saying it's hitting Louisiana. Okay. Say it's getting directly to Florida. If it hits Florida, it's going to be on the Tampa side. I am on the east side. So it came up around and up the Gulf, and it's going to be heading into like the Tampa area, which is very weird because the storm, unless it decided to take a right turn, which some have done, and come directly across the east, what we're going to get from it is some really great weather. Unfortunately, because when those things come through and they come across, they suck all the moisture out of the air, and then the next day and 3 or 4 days is just beautiful. It's not humid. It's just perfect to be in the pool. It's just love it, love it, love it, love it. When is Trump's speech? Somebody want to tell him? Woo! All right. I'm sorry. Cat Turd is getting hit with the hurricane. Oh, is he on the west side? The Big Bend area, up there through Tallahassee, Pensacola, all through that area, right through there. When I described Discord, I cut off. Okay. Discord is basically like a forum where people can talk and exchange ideas, content. It's not one-sided. YouTube is one-sided. I push content out to you. In a Discord server, you as discourse, the word discourse, conversation, you can bring stuff to us, and then the moderators make sure it's not bad stuff, but you can say, hey, listen, I saw this video. Have you seen this video? You need to check it out. Right now, I get those by email, and I go through and I'm like, hey Barry, did you see this video? Did you see this video? No, I haven't had time. But if it's posted in the Discord, then it's always there, and people, including me, Ashley, the mods, and you, would be able to see it. Let's see. Michigan governor endorses Trump. Huh? No. Whitmer. No. Yikes! I got unsubscribed. Unsubscribed from where? Here. Let's see. Thank you, Barry, for another good show. Discord is free to use. Yes, it is, unless you attach a membership to it. The mods have been chatting for a couple of weeks. It's really fun. Ashley, you guys decide if you want to do like a preview or something. Barry has the important quality of patience. I don't know if it's patience or actually also discernment. Understanding what we want to do here. This is new to a lot of us, and I guess what I'm doing is I'm thinking forward. There was a question. One of the questions was, Barry, are you thinking about Rumble? Rumble is basically the same as YouTube. And what I mean by that, it is this way. It's me pushing content out to you. There's nothing coming back other than a comment. I want to develop something where it's this, where people are because as a group, we are going to see more things collectively than just Barry sees during the day. And so you may say, hey, Tommy, hey, Ashley, hey, Fred, hey, Joe, check this out, look at this, and have a conversation about something. And then the conversation that may strike up in the Discord might be something I'm like, you guys seem to be all over this. Maybe I need to bring this to the bigger audience. But I wouldn't know that if I didn't see the conversation going on down here. So it's a little bit different. And when I say I'm trying to think forward thinking meaning two sides. One, I don't know what'll happen if Trump wins, how crazy things people will get. And two, I don't know what will happen if Trump loses. If he wins, I don't fear us being shut down. I fear that the nuts are going to go crazy. But if he loses, I want to be in a position where we still can talk and exchange information without anybody coming after you or me. Being able to continue the conversation, because if he loses, we're going to need to talk. Trust me. If he loses, we are going to need some place where we can continue the discussion. If he wins, we're going to need a place to keep the discussion going that we can't discuss in other places. How do you know this? Because these people are coming after the one place that remains free. They got Telegram. I don't know if you saw, I had tweeted something. The guy in Telegram, he waved the white flag. He said he is now sharing IP addresses and phone numbers with the law enforcement. He caved. After they arrested him in France, he's like, I can't do this anymore. I'm done. So they took him down. But they can't or have not yet been able to do that with Elon Musk. If you follow Elon Musk and get on X, you can see the stuff he's saying. They hate him. They will do anything to try and shut him up. But it's kind of hard because he's got more money than he knows what to do with, and you can't do it other than with regulations. So pray for Elon as much as you're praying for Trump, because they want him gone. Man, do they want him gone. Ohio near 128 evacuation due to a chemical leak. Ooh, wow. Barry, where's the link to the Discord? We're going to announce it very soon. It's coming. It's like a Zoom call with video. Yeah, kind of. You can have a video there. Rumble is better than X. Again, you're conflating things. Rumble is a YouTube. It is a video platform. The video stands here, and then you can comment and do things. But it is not as it is as free, meaning there's no censorship there. So it's pretty much the same. I'm looking for interaction, more interaction where people can talk with me and each other. That's the difference we're trying to build here. My prediction is that Trump is going to win, but they will not allow him to go into power. Don't even say it, Barry. Don't even say it. Oh, man, it's crazy. All right, so let me go ahead and do and recognize people who have been so kind as to donate to us today. And let me get this ready. Okay, here we go. First and foremost, as I scroll back up, which you guys can see now. Oh, no, now you can see. Let me go ahead and remove that comment. Barry, always glad to see you jumping on for an event. Thank you, Big Cat TV. Really like to talk to you soon. Okay, we'll do that. Helen Tower, thank you. Should I tag Fanfare on X with anything good? Sure, just put the hashtag Fanfare and I'll see it. Robert Cooper. See, even that, you can't do that on YouTube. Realize that. So on Twitter, you can say, or at me, you can say, well, Barry, did you see this thing? And then just put @ so we can be interactive. Robert Cooper, Robert L., thank you, Barry, great job, but I need to know, where's that Hartford Whalers hat? Wow, you went way, way back. You remember when the Civic Center collapsed because of the snow? Tim Allred, X marks the spot. Just another knucklehead. Tip jar, thank you, sir. Terry, Barry, thank you for all you do. We love your channel. Please consider selling your Fanfare shirts. We're working on that as well. AM Jimenez, don't stop YouTube. You're reaching people middle and left. Nope, not going to stop. Don't have to worry about that. Edit your nightly videos on X and put on YouTube with the delay. Okay. Love Barry plus Midas background barks. Thank you. Trump says statin 2033. Thank you. Michelle in Michigan. Hey, thank you again. Did you see the video Russia released to Great Britain? Showed them what a small nuclear thing would do in the middle of London. No, I would love to see that. Thank you. See, just like that. All right, so there's an example. Michelle says, have you seen the video, Russia relates to Great Britain? No, I haven't seen it. All Michelle can do here is leave a comment. If she was in the Discord, she could say, have you seen this video, what they did? Here's a link to it. And then we can just click on it and watch it. See, a lot of the times when people send me emails and they say, have you seen this? You want to click? I'm not clicking on a link in an email. It ain't happening. And so most of those, no, I never see them, because if I open it up and it's got a link in the email, it ain't happening. Hart says, thank you, Barry. What an amazing community. Thank you very much. Donna Peoples, please give us an update on the polls. It's time. The polls are starting to collapse on Kamala. I'll do that this week. Brent Cushman, thank you. Michael Mullen, thank you. Cannot wait for the merch. Have a time frame to start. It's Tuesday, by next Monday. I'm going to commit to that right now in the air. Right at the same time as I'll do the Trump dance. Brent Cushman, President for Life. Yes. Mike McCarthy, thank you. Edwin Mendez, he just submitted 2024. This is a tax plan. Anyone with a brain understands what he just did. He just nuked her. But they'll complain. They will. Donna Peoples, Energy, Trump said it again, MAGA Magic. Dennis Doherty, thank you very much. I get a lot of emails from Dennis, lots of emails from Dennis. Doctor asked me if anyone in my family suffered from mental illness. I told him, no, we don't suffer. We all enjoy it very much. Big Michael Nays, Trump too big to rig. Thanks, Barry. Q. First, thank you very, very much. Second, Q. You're going to have to leave me a comment, Q, and let me know if you are of the persuasion of Q-ish. You know, Q-isms? Let me know about that. Some of you guys don't have no idea what I'm talking about, but Q may know. Adabanjo, thank you. Donna Peoples, where can I send more money? You're doing fine. You don't have to send more money. You don't have to do that. Braulia Guerrero, I agree with the massive deportation. I'd like to see Trump give the Dreamers amnesty like Reagan did, is how I got my resident card, and then a citizen, and then a Republican honor of Reagan. Yeah, but you probably came through the front door. DK Tice, he's out cold when he is awake. Well, you know, what he said in terms of like him sleeping is pretty much how I feel. I will lay in bed, and I swear, just idea after idea. Okay, well, I do a video about this. Well, I do a video about that. And I don't want to do all the same stuff everybody else does. They chase views. And they're like, hey, here's this story about that. And I'm like, the story is a story. What's your opinion on a story? What does it mean? Can you kind of read between the lines and tell me? And they don't. They stop short. Mike McCarthy, thanks, Barry. Cuddle00, great job, Barry. Aloha, mahalo. Yes, thank you. One Alaho girl on X. All right, I'll remember that. No name again. Thank you. I'm in depression mode. I lost my $100,000 job and worry Trump won't win. I want to work for Barry. Dude, did you really lose your job? Man, that sucks. Really sucks, man. I pray for you. PX, VP referred to. Wait a minute. Dude, you lost your job and you still donated. We got to do something about that. PX, VP, Vice President referred to as heels up Harris in California, climbed that leftist loony ladder pretty quickly while stepping all over liberty of the Californians along the way. California, I don't even know what happened to that state. Tom Adelstein, and it's going to get worse. Cuddle again, thank you. Donna Peoples, thank you. IB Angel, right off interest paid. Yes, let's effing go, Barry. Thank you, Life of Retirement. I see him on Twitter all the time. Diana Frey, thanks for all you do. Barry and Mods. Where'd I go? Okay. TB, thank you. I know you get a lot of emails, but I hope you respond. Yeah, I will respond. I just don't click on links in the email. Linda Zamora, thanks for being so informative. Lisa Osler, thank you very much. Creative Margie, how you doing, lady? I've seen you in a while. Barry, I have an old Twitter account, forgot my password, and it's asking me to sign in with Google. No other options. Your thought, please? You don't have to sign in with Google. unless you're using some sort of app, you can actually just go directly into Twitter and put lost password, and Twitter will send you your password, whatever it was, to whatever email that you used to use. And depending on if it's been like you said, it's an old Twitter account. Unless it's something where you've got tons of followers, it might be easier just to start a new one. If it's real old, I don't know how old is, but he could probably start a new one. Lisa Osler again. Yikes, what happens if Trump wins? If something happens, then they install Queen K before. Oh, count on it. Count on her being installed as president. Ryan, think Barry should hook up Cash App. YouTube takes 30%. That's another reason. I wasn't going to say it, but YouTube takes 30%. Barry, I don't have much, but just for that comment. And I want to recognize somebody else, because yesterday I was rushing because we had to do different events and everything, and there was somebody named Randy. He's like, "Hey man, you didn't do the call out at the end of the show." And I went, "Oh my God, I forgot. I was rushing." Randy, thank you for what your donation yesterday. I fully apologize that I didn't do it and I didn't take the time to go back and talk to everybody. So that was my fault. It's on me. Thank you. All right, so that's it for today. I think I'm probably going to try and get something done at 7, but you'll know in the next hour if I post something, a notification. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow. There will be let's see, around 4:30, there will be a pre-recorded video. If those of you guys who weren't here yesterday, I talked about Kamala's bad day yesterday, so that video will be up in probably about an hour, and then I may look to go live at 7. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you guys very soon. Thank you.